I'd like to call this meeting to order. It is meeting 1702 of the Southern Berkshire Regional School District School Committee, April 30th. Call to order. I am very pleased to announce that the contract for Dr. Rika was approved on Tuesday, and he and I signed contracts earlier today. So this is his first full meeting without interim in his title. We're working on a press release that will go out shortly. Before we go into executive session on the agenda, I would entertain a motion that we amend the agenda so that our student representative report could go before executive session.
So moved.
Okay, so I heard Carl and Nancy. Is there any discussion about that? Okay, hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Bonnie?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Miguel?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Yes.
Jim? Carl?
Yes. This is on the motion to change the order.
Just to change the order
Right,
of the agenda.
yes.
And we're just moving student representative before executive session. If you'd like to vote yes.
Yes.
Yes, and Julie, yes. So we will do that. We want to welcome our student representative.
Indeed.
Hi, I'm Haley Warren, the junior class student rep, and recently the junior class has been putting lots of effort into planning prom, which is very soon on May 15th. This year we've been working with the culinary to create the desserts for prom. The superintendent student advisory council has been working to plan a fun movie night. And this weekend, Interact will be helping with the garden outside the community entrance. And next weekend, they'll be doing a roadside cleanup.
Sounds like the junior class is very busy.
Yes.
That time of year. Does anybody have any questions?
That's a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Congratulations on all your hard work. Thank you for
you.
being here tonight.
Thank you.
Very good. So we will continue. I would entertain a motion for executive session as printed on our agenda.
I move to go and see if I can do it. Executive session, motion to enter executive session pursuant to MGL C30A, something or other 21A2, to conduct contract negotiations with Director of Student Services and return to open session.
Would someone-
I second that
And
motion.
Miguel seconds that. Very good. All right. Any discussion? Carl?
Two things.
Oh,
One, and this should be standard with any motion to
and
enter.
the chair so declares. I know that that's one.
That's one.
I just remembered that as soon as you
Okay.
raised your
Right,
hand.
okay. And two is, there has to be a reason not to reveal the name of the person or persons that we are having contract negotiations with. That's not a matter that is confidential, and it will not affect our negotiations in any way if we reveal the name of that person.
Well, we could name Dr. Jonathan Bruno because we did name him on Tuesday's meeting pending contract negotiations.
Right, I know that, and that's the reason that,
Okay.
that executive session secrecy should be limited to those things that really do need to be secret. This doesn't.
Very good. Thank you, Carl, I
Okay.
appreciate those points of order. The folks that made the motion, Nancy, Miguel, you're okay. We'll make those additions in our minutes
Okay.
that the chair declares we should have executive session, and we've named Dr. Bruno.
We approve.
Yeah. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Carl?
Aye.
Art? Jim? Nancy? Amy?
Aye.
Miguel?
Yes.
Kim? Bonnie? Yeah, and Julie, yes. So I don't expect this executive
This is gonna be
session to be very long. So please stick around and come back with us.
Recording stopped.
Okay, so we can continue on. We are at
Recording
standing.
in progress.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, we're returning to the open meeting agenda. Standing reports. We do not have any school committee minutes to review or approve.
I don't believe there's correspondence.
There is not.
There is no correspondence.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was sleeping.
While pouring a drink?
Yeah, it's kind of, there was some coffee in there, but it's, my Uncle Saul used to say, it's all going into the same stomach. There is correspondence. I emailed today a copy of my letter to you, Julie.
Okay.
So that I emailed it to Michelle, who is our RAO. So it's now a matter of public record, that letter. And I just,
Okay.
yeah. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Does that mean he reads it?
I don't know. Do you feel the need to read that, or you're just saying that you have sent it to Michelle, so if it is requested?
I'm guessing from the look on Kim's face
know,
that
I'm
she
curious.
wants me to, but it's a
No.
matter of
No,
public.
no, I don't
Anyone,
know,
you know, it just will take up time that it's there. Anybody who wants to read it can, and
Okay.
anybody who doesn't want to won't.
Okay,
So,
all right. Well, thank you, Carol, for that clarification. We have heard from our student representative and student spotlight.
No, student spotlight.
Not tonight. Okay. I could offer a quick thing on a student spotlight, however, only because I know Chris had his freshman technology students at the Sheffield Senior Center earlier, was it this week?
Monday.
Monday, yeah, what day was it? And, yeah, so my husband was it was at the men's breakfast, and they seemed to have a wonderful time. So that's a great spotlight and a tribute to the program. So I will just add that. Public comment.
What did they do?
We just gave a quick overview of what we've done in our aerospace engineering class. We showed them the rockets that we made, the drones that we fly, both indoor and outdoor drones. We had some videos of the drone competitive team, videos of our rocket launches, nice flyover of the building for the outdoor drones. Things like that.
Is
Yeah.
that the one Jay was going to?
Yes, Jay was there. Yeah.
Yeah, people seem to really enjoy that. Very good. Thank you, Chris, for doing that. All right, on to public comment.
I'm Connie Cooper from Sheffield. I encourage the committee to hire new counsel to start fresh with no preconceived ideas, no prejudices, no anger. The committee has new leadership. The district has a superintendent with a contract. There's a new accounting firm. And now it's time to change counsel, to bring in someone fresh with new eyes and ears and not part of the past turmoil. I also want to commend the committee. I think it's historical that all 5 town governments are supporting the committee by agreeing to a schedule 2 annual meetings in their towns. Thank you for your perseverance and the good work that you're doing.
Thank you. All right. Is there other public comment at this time? No public comment? All right. I was going to say, who else is over there? Just looking to see who are tentative speakers. Okay, no other public comment. We'll move on. Business managers report. TJ is not here. You want to
No,
speak to?
he sent that memo that was put on everybody's table and everybody's space. It was a follow-up and a summary of last night's conversation at the Finance Committee, which I'm sure we'll delve into more when we talk about FY26 and FY27 budget updates. It also is a review of the document, I want to say it was 13 pages that Michelle sent, which was an updated FY27 budget. Which at a very high level showed the level up request, which came from the school committee at your last meeting. The only other portions of that non-human part of the budget that were up are the 8.75% for healthcare and the 2.5% that we are committed to by contract for busing. As you scan that document on the front page, you'll see that initially it is a 10.3% increase, but in order to get to the 6% overall assessment number that the committee also requested, you'll see shaded about 3/4 of the way down, $518,000 as an offset which gets to an overall increase of 8.3%. And as you see back up to the top, a total of the 5 town assessments at 6%. What TJ has here summarizes the work that was done to get there, the work that we still have to do to move forward. And I continue to be very grateful for his partnership along with his colleagues Jen and Angeline, who have been instrumental in working with this team to build our FY27 budget. I'm sure, as I said, we'll have more in New Business B when we discuss FY26 and FY27 budget.
Yeah.
And he is sorry he couldn't be here, but this was a date that he had given me a while back, and he wasn't able to attend.
And I just realized under business manager's report, you know, we did, of course, jump to memo and budget
Right.
because it's on our mind. But of
Right.
course, there
We didn't
is
do
no,
it.
there
Right.
is no warrant
Right.
to approve. We have no grants or
Correct.
gifts to accept. There
Correct.
are no budget transfers,
All
just
true.
for the record.
Indeed.
So we'll do more. Kim, do we want to wait till we actually get to
I
it,
was
to
just
new
gonna-
business, or what
Well, no,
did
it's
you?
about the memo.
I know, but technically, I wish we had.
I
been-
shouldn't have said that, I'm
I
sorry.
shouldn't have had the superintendent
just-
kind of went to that before we got to it on
Oh,
the
okay, I
agenda,
was gonna
that's
say,
all.
Because this doesn't reflect this.
There's a few things that need clarification, I agree. How about we hang on and we'll do it where we should, we'll return to this, if you don't mind. Okay. Chairman's report. You know, Chairman's been pretty busy between contracts, between monitoring budget updates, and we'll get to that later. Maybe I'll just save that comment for later, watching what the House is doing and all of that. I will be commenting later on program of studies just in general because I was a webinar and I only got part of it, but I was looking at slides and it was talking about some of the new graduation requirements that are being proposed. And that would be something good for us to talk about because they're talking about a requirement for financial literacy, which we don't have. So that is something for future consideration. Couple other things, happy we're moving forward with all of our contracts. I just wanted to let the committee know, I've been working with the superintendent, he's got a memo, not quite done, but almost done, that we will send out to the tables at the annual town meetings, kind of a budget update, just basically why are they not voting in May, and that sort of thing. So that memo is in progress. I started thinking Tuesday when I was talking to Kate and realized I had a May date for elementary open house, that I remember last year talking about a lot of events that were happening and we didn't know. So one thing that I think, you know, we'll put forth through the leadership team is to help them assemble dates where it might be nice for school committee members to try to attend, be it an elementary open house or a concert, or there's going to be step-up nights. There's going to be all the graduation and honors things. So we can assemble a calendar on all of those things. One of the dates I want to put forth, and that I'm thinking of, because Sarah and I talked about this, I don't know, sometime in the last lifetime. May 28th is the May meeting, and we talked about possibly changing the school committee on May 28th to 5 to 6 p.m. because of a celebration of learning with Transcend. Is that date firmed up?
That date is firmed up.
Okay.
That's actually part of my update.
Perfect. Okay. Don't want to take your thunder. Just
No.
trying to get a calendar
No, it's good to
together.
coordinate, so
Yeah.
I can give more
Yeah.
information now,
Yeah.
or I can...
No. When it's your turn. No. Just something I was trying to capture in my head. And then just the last thing that I have been thinking about, because our committee has had so much turmoil of late. You know, I don't know what it would be to help us promote some healing and some conversations and all of that, but know that I'm thinking about that. I'll probably be talking to MASC. How can we try to bring ourselves back to the same page? So that's something that's on my mind, not to really discuss right now, but know that I'm certainly thinking about it, open to ideas, and, you know, how can we try to do that? That's the chairman's report tonight.
Quick question on that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, question?
Question is, you mentioned that Brian has a letter that's going out to the different towns.
Yeah.
Will we see it so it's not something.
Of course, you will get it before it goes out to the town.
I mean,
Because
before,
should be
before and then you just send it afterwards, or before and we say, oh, that's not correct? Type
It's,
thing.
I don't
I think
know,
it
it's,
should come-
it's just about done. I mean, could probably send it out in the morning. I mean, we
Sure.
gotta double check, and we'll gotta check with towns, like, Monterey's up first on Saturday.
Monterey's not talking anything about the school. I got off the phone with
Yeah.
Mr. Maycook, so it's really necessary because they can't even address it.
Yeah, well, it's just an informational thing. But we did hear from their administrator that they wanted
want
someone
somebody
from
there.
school committee to show
No,
up.
he said that somebody asked, and he said the superintendent could go, because Justin Maycook was in the office when I spoke to him.
Oh,
He
okay.
also told me that it would be June 13th for their town meeting, and there was no way they're not available towards the end of the month.
Okay, well then let's talk about that calendar when we get to
Later,
finance, and
right.
we'll talk about timeline again. Yeah, thanks. Okay. But we can certainly send that out. I mean, it's just something we've been massaging to try to capture as close to the most current information that we have to do. So, Bonnie?
Well, then, there's two things. We won't have time to vote on it, so you say we.
Well, but it's a
It's a
memo
memo
from the
from me. It's
superintendent.
not-
That's what I
It's
wanna
not a
say.
memo from the
The
school
last
committee.
memo had
I just
misinformation in it,
wanted-
so it
Julie.
kind of makes towns hesitant to receive.
I just wanted to be, Brian, don't look that way. I just.
When I'm
wanted to
accused
be
of sending out a
sure.
memo with misinformation, which is
The payroll
inaccurate.
salary
It's-
thing was
No,
not.
we're taking that out.
No,
I mean, that's what, I mean,
The first memo had it in it.
Kim, I'm
and
not
it
gonna go
wasn't.
back and forth with you. I was speaking, please don't interrupt. I looked away because I was accused of sending out a memo with misinformation. That information came to me from Open Architects, our business manager partner, who I trust. This is a memo from me to the towns.
That's totally different. When Julie says we're, that engages
This will have my
the
signature.
school.
No,
This
it's
will have
from
my
Brian.
signature.
He's asked the chair's
That's okay.
input, but it's his memo.
That's totally just,
Okay, I'll
Thank
be
you, Bonnie.
careful about the we's and
Thank
the
you,
eyes,
Bonnie.
Bonnie. Thank you.
well, yeah. you
Okay.
not
Now, will you
engaging
be
us.
reviewing the information?
Yeah, I've been seeing the information.
So I think that's pretty well
It's-
set for, I think
it's-
that's, I mean, I think
Established
concerns
fact.
have been established for, that's the good word. I think concerns have been established and will be,
Yeah.
hopefully will be taken into account.
Indeed.
I mean, as chair, I've seen it, but it's not my memo. So it's not that I'm speaking on behalf of the school committee.
Well, I
if
think there
that's
should
what
be a
you're trying.
disclaimer that it's the superintendent's memo, not the school.
It's to
It'll
the
have-
voters
It'll
from
have
the
my signature on it,
superintendent.
as the other one did.
Clarification.
Okay,
I don't know whether you'll do it here or during finance, but I think among us, there should be some degree of understanding so we don't give incorrect information at our towns. You know, things such as projected date or anything. I mean, we should try to keep it, as my view is, it's in the hand of the experts now.
yeah,
I want us to be careful at our town meetings.
I agree. I definitely
I think
agree.
Maybe whether you do it during the finance committee, subcommittee, you know, when we get to that on the agenda, but we shouldn't be going rogue.
We're not going rogue.
No, no, I don't expect that we are.
I don't know
However,
where that's coming from. Can I?
that's
Okay.
coming from having seen performances where somebody could go rogue. So I think we all should be mindful in our towns that we're heading in a way that is okay.
Yes, I think we'll talk more about that in finance. I
That's fine,
felt a
that's
little
all.
bit better after last night's meeting. I mean, we're not there yet, but we're getting there. We're making progress. Yeah. Nancy?
My understanding is that now Sheffield, New Marlborough, and now Monterey do not have the school budget on this year's warrant.
Yes, and
Yeah.
there's,
Neither
Right,
does
so,
Alfred.
and I don't know about Egremont or Alford. Do you know about Alford?
No, Alfred
didn't
said
ask
they,
for us to
they
come.
didn't ask for us to come.
Yeah,
We
so-
heard from the
So-
town
Nobody,
administrator.
nobody needs to show up because they can't even address it.
Right, so I think that, and Egremont is the only outlier, but go ahead.
don't know.
I have a question about that.
Sure.
Has every one of the 5 towns indicated to the administration here that that they affirmatively do not want Dr. Ricca at town meeting?
No, they said that what I was told from Monterey was he could show up, but he can't really speak because we're not have the school budget on the agenda.
So
Well-
the only town that's indicated they want us to come is Egremont. They have asked us to come, so Julie and I will be going
Yeah.
on Tuesday. There is a ballot item regarding vocational education for a student in that district. So we will be going on Tuesday to the Egremont town meeting.
But I don't
We don't
anticipate,
expect that we'll be speaking or
they just
addressing it.
thought it would be nice for us to
Right.
come.
I
The
think-
other
So we are-
towns have affirmatively told us we do not have to go, town administrators.
I
do
thought
not
the
have to-
Monterey administrator, though,
He'd
did-
asked for a
he'd
representative.
asked for a representative, which we
I
have
the
a
e-
representative,
I have the
but,
email, so.
but
But if he doesn't want somebody to come, we
Okay.
don't
No,
have
he
to go.
just said
We're
you
just
wouldn't be
gonna-
doing anything.
we're just gonna have to, we'll just
We'll
clarify.
confirm, we'll
We'll just
confirm.
clarify
Okay,
that.
fair enough.
Okay, back to Carl.
Well, if I can be proxy for my select board, I know I can't be, but I'm quite sure they would like for Dr. Ricker to be at town meeting on Tuesday, May 12th. Even if this,
Who's the
Who's
contact?
the contact?
Roxanne.
Roxanne.
She
I
said
was-
no.
Yeah, she said
She
the
said-
select board discussed it,
Right.
Yep.
yeah, and
Well,
that we did not.
it's a question
They
of
would
how
like
she
us to
said
show
no.
up, obviously,
Just a
in
minute.
June.
wait, hold it. It's how she said no. Did she say, no, we don't want you there, or no, it's not necessary for you to be there? Those are two very different instructions.
Okay.
Carl.
It's no, not
Good
necessary.
morning, Brian. Thank you for reaching out. The select board in Alfred met last night, and they do not feel the need to have someone present at the annual town meeting in May. We will ask to have someone attend the special town meeting in June.
Again, I mean, that isn't an affirmative, we don't want you there. It's, we don't need you there.
That's okay.
I
That's
think
a,
that
that's a
was
good thing.
But they're gonna have
Okay,
a
I
meeting
think
where
we
they do
can,
want
we
you
can,
to.
we have good communication with our town administrators, and we will
Okay.
sort that out. But I did, I mentioned that because I want the school committee to know that we did want to send a memo. You folks will all see it. It is from our superintendent. It is just, we're making progress. We thank them for the time that they're granting. So after that, I think we should continue on in our agenda if,
Okay.
okay? But thank you for all your questions. I appreciate that. On to the superintendent's report.
So we have obviously been working most and substantively on the budget. I mentioned earlier my gratitude for TJ and his team, who have answered endless questions and helped guide us to the point where we are. To Julie's point last night, we were relatively hopeful that they were using over $500,000 of offsets to get us to the 6%, knowing that there are still potentially more offsets that we could use. Practically speaking, I am announcing that Tuesday, June 23rd is our final day of school. I don't like to make that announcement until after the break, on the off chance that we get any more snow. But
We've had snow in May.
Yes, we have.
We're gonna hope.
3 feet.
We're gonna hope that that doesn't happen. Tuesday, June 23rd, last day of school. As our student representative pointed out, in the superintendent's advisory committee, the middle and high school students would like to have a movie night, and that will be taking place on Friday, June 12th. We just had a email sent out from the group that's meeting with me weekly. The 4 movies that our students can consider are Mrs. Doubtfire, The Sandlot, The Karate Kid, and, I can't believe I'm blank, there was a 4th. I was so proud of how we got to all of them. The Lego Movie, thank you very much. Thank
We
you
know
very
Michelle
much.
wants to see.
The high school students are going to be doing this as a fundraiser, so they're going to be working on bringing in some food and snacks. The next email that these young people will be sending out will be to get a sense of attendance so that we can get the right number of chaperones. And I feel very privileged that I've been invited to be a chaperone at the prom, which is taking place on Friday, May 15th. So, there we go.
Okay.
We're going stag.
All right.
Michael's not in.
Let's see, Director of Curriculum and Instructional and Professional Development, Sarah.
All right. So I submitted our Student Opportunity Act update. And so just kind of wanted to give everybody, we're in the middle of a 3-year cycle on that. So it was originally submitted April 1st, 2024. There is no requirement to give a full presentation at this point by DESE to the school committee. We are in the compliance part of this cycle, so we are just cruising along with what we've promised to do and making sure that we are doing those things. The biggest update is that we have submitted and are waiting on our early college designation with UMass. So that's kind of the only piece that's really changed from the original plan. The next update that I have is our Arts and Cultural Vitality Index Study Committee met. We are working through the different levers. One part of that is really getting feedback from families, the grown-ups, and also our students. And so we are working on a survey to collect some information from people who are willing to give us that. We will be meeting again next week and kind of going over the survey, and that'll be coming. The next thing, May 14th, we have a half-day PD. I'm excited to share that Leslie Salas Lopez has been working with Railroad Street Youth Foundation. She has been working with a health curriculum that they have and doing an inquiry studio on that. And she will be hosting a panel discussion for faculty and staff to talk about student substance use and providing supports for our educators and how to have some difficult conversations with students. So that is totally student driven and it's exciting. So if anybody's interested in attending that discussion, it'll be happening on May 14th here at about 12:30 in the TAP Pack. We also will be taking some 8th graders and Leslie as a 10th grade representative to the Massachusetts Civic Showcase, which is from 9 to, I believe, 12:30 on May 26th. And you'll be getting an email from me very shortly in the next, probably tomorrow. There's an invitation for community members if anybody would like to come and support our students. It's at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield. So they'll be representing their civics work that they've been doing. And then on May 28th, we will be having a celebration of learning. So I'll be reaching out to some student organizations. Hopefully our civics projects will be presented, and that will take place from 6 to 8. Our partners from Transcend will be here. We are hoping to get 100 people in through the doors, so we'll be sending out an invitation to the community, asking people to RSVP because we will have some refreshments, we'll have a reception, and we'll share the learning that we've been doing this year. And if the school committee would like to set up an informational booth, that would be a great opportunity to share some information with community members. And that's...
Sure.
Because she's too humble to share it, the next time we sit down as a group, Ms. Sarah Tatro will be Dr. Sarah Tatro because she will be graduating with her doctorate before we sit down again on May 14th.
Yay!
Soon to be Dr. Tatro.
Thank you very much. All right, any questions for Sarah? Okay, Bonnie?
Yeah.
Just wanted to, can we look again to find the curriculum date?
I'll send you some days and we'll get together with the curriculum subcommittee. So would you like me to send them directly to you or to everybody so everybody can weigh in?
No, it should be everybody on the,
Okay,
on the.
perfect.
That's me, Bonnie,
Okay.
send it to me.
Great.
I'll make sure to go through.
Okay,
Okay,
excellent.
perfect.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so next, under new business, we have an updated 2026-27 academic calendar.
Thanks, that would be helpful.
I don't know what the exact updates were.
Which I
forget.
would like to thank Mr. Fish for helping with this.
Yeah,
We moved our professional development days in the winter from Wednesday, which would conflict with the ski and ride program, to Tuesdays. So thank you for that. But that is really, nothing else has substantively changed. So if there are no objections, we would love to have that approved, and we can get that out to folks, as they say, post haste.
Motion to approve the 2026-2027 academic calendar
Second.
for the Southern Berkshire Regional School District.
all right.
Thank you.
We have a motion by Bonnie, seconded by Carl, to approve the updated 2026-27
Thank you so much for
calendar.
doing that.
Is there any other questions or discussion?
I would like to say one thing about it. This is something that's been under discussion for years, and as I happen to have been a ski instructor at Butternut for a while, I was at Catamount way longer, but at Butternut, the fact that the Southern Berkshire kids got shut off from those Wednesdays with Prop Dev was, aside from the fact that it was a drag for them, for us as instructors and for the administrators in the snow sports department, it was a big, major drag. So,
That's hard too.
so that was, that's great news. Good, it's great news, thank you.
Any other comment? No? We've had that motion. Bonnie? Yes. Kim?
Yes.
Big Al?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Yes.
Art? Carl?
Yes.
And Julie, yes. Okay. I realize my oversight, I jumped from Sarah to new business. We have an acting director of student services report. Jonathan, sorry about that.
Hi, thanks for having me, everybody. Appreciate it. So, other than budget work, which we've all been doing a lot of, we've been preparing for summer programming and pre-K screening. Kelly McDonald has been doing a lot with the pre-K screening. Nancy Doherty's been doing a lot with our ESY, which is our extended school year, which is our summer special ed program. So we've been doing a lot of work there, getting those things ready, getting letters out to parents, all of that fun stuff. Hiring folks to do that work. We're also starting the federal grant cycle. Sarah and I are meeting tomorrow to start that process for next year for the FY27 grants. And next Wednesday, I'm hoping that everyone that is available can join us. Let me just double check my calendar. Yes, next Wednesday, the 6th, is Special Olympics, which takes place at the track in the back of Monument Mountain. We have many students participating there. We've got a van, maybe 2 vans actually going this year, of a group of students who will be participating in that event. And everyone is welcome.
Time?
I don't have an exact time. It usually starts, I think, around 9, but I can get you that information. Yep.
If you would send that to Michelle,
Yeah,
and she
I'll
could
send
just
it to everybody.
spread it out to
Yeah.
everybody, you know, when's a
And
good
that's
time.
in the morning, so it's usually 9 to 12.
And it's great.
And it's.
So it's Wednesday, May
amazing.
6th.
It's
Wednesday,
so
May
much
6th.
fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
So come out and support our students.
It's spectacular.
It
Was
is,
that all right?
yes.
It's spectacular.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's
Very good.
fantastic. It's,
All right.
and the kids get to give a lot of help, and it's really important work to do, and I
Nice.
think it changes a lot of the experience of, it changes the experience of anybody who works
Great.
with
Thank you,
in
Nancy.
that program. Yeah.
Okay. Jonathan, are you finished? Are you complete, shall I say?
Appreciate it.
Man, Jonathan inspired me and reminded me, I wanted to tell everybody in this room about an event that's taking place next Wednesday, the 6th at 3 o'clock. It's our celebration of our Girls on the Run program, which is going to happen here on the track at 3 o'clock. Please come one, please come all. I'll try to add that to the email that goes out from Michelle about the earlier event in the day. But if you as school committee members have in your brains Wednesday, May 6th, 2 events going on, one in the early part of the day, one in the latter part of the day, we'd of course like to have you.
I guess we really do need that event calendar.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, my God. I thought it would be starting the end of May. It's starting now.
Question.
Bonnie?
Are students who are currently involved in track?
It's the Girls on the Run program itself. It's separate from track, but it is a specific program for young women, run by women here, and they're having a big event on the track at 3 o'clock on Wednesday the 6th.
Nice.
Maybe Kate has more information?
Oh, my dad! I totally forgot. I'm so
Michelle.
sorry.
That's okay, I'm one of the coaches.
Thank you.
Oh,
So they're leading up to June 6th, they run a 5K. So the whole idea is that they build up over time. But we have a practice 5K halfway through the season so they can kind of get what it feels like to have to do that whole distance. So the parents come and we build it up a little bit. Usually the cross-country team comes and supports us a little bit on that day too. So it's just a fun day to practice.
Are the siblings still allowed to run with them?
Yeah, sure, anybody can run, yeah.
great. You look great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, very good. Thank you all. All right. flip
And I
to you.
have a question for
Sure.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
You mentioned SPED grants. What ones are you looking into?
There's only 2 SPED grants. There's the 240 and the, what's the other one, 190?
Yeah, so we have to put in an intent to participate in the federal entitlement grants. And so those are the grants that we are talking about at this
Is it
moment.
like 260 and 240 or?
I can't remember if it's 260, I don't think it's 260, but yes, 240. It's the 2 special ed grants that we have, yes. Those are the only 2 special ed grants that we can apply for. There are other federal grants that we can apply for, like early ed and things like that, but this is just the federal entitlement grants, not the other sort of or the other competitive ones, the non-competitive ones.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll continue on. So now we're back on the back side of this agenda for our budget updates, which we kind of started earlier on. So yeah, the information is there. We know the budget handout that was there that we saw at finance last night does not include all of the offsets.
Right.
It does not include the E&D. The good news was that the E&D questions were cleaned up through 23 and 24, so now we're finally just working on the 25 concerns that Department of Local Services had. And, you know, it seems like each time we meet, we feel like we're getting closer to something. So there certainly should be more offsets. The one thing I noticed that this memo didn't say, and it's something, we know our expenses are always going up, but we do know that some of the grants and the offsets are kind of mixed, and some of them are lower. So, you know, we knew that there was one of the Title I, the poverty one is down a certain amount.
Right.
And then in the House budget, you know, the numbers in this handout are based on the governor's budget. They had, TJ took a very conservative approach and used those numbers because we talked about that last night. Well, why don't we have the House numbers? Because some of those are up, but others are down. You know, rural aid was down, but transportation was up. Yeah, rural aid went from 20 to 12 in the House budget. According to the MASC memo that I got, but the transportation went up to 92%, which was good because it was like in the low 80s. So, you know, that one went up, one went down. They're kind of mixed. So I don't know, you know, we might have offsets listed one way or another. Probably the bottom line has not changed significantly from what I can tell. But the other information there is pretty much the same. We did talk, I know, question about the instructional costs and talking about salary numbers, and I know, Kim, you had questions on that.
The letters.
The difference, yeah, because
The letters are the same thing as the steps, because A, B, C, D, all the way down to T. So it's just the difference of steps.
It's the difference of steps, but with the two, yeah, we had a lot of conversation. Well, this is like a finance update, but really, you know, trying to understand the change from the larger scale to a more condensed, one fewer column, two fewer horizontal rows, and all of that. So we're still trying to work through what the payroll system Harper has, making it match with Infinite Visions.
He was saying
And all
it's
of-
human error in infinite.
That's what he thinks, yeah. So they're still sorting a little bit of that out. Bonnie?
So given what I heard last night, it seems like they're close.
That's, I did. I went home feeling more optimistic that we are closer to sorting out. I do think the instructional costs are something that's still of concern because I'm still trying to wrap my head around all of that, and I just don't, I don't know. Well, anyway, I'll just leave it at that. But I do feel like we're getting closer to a more palatable bottom line at the end of the day.
So, I mean, what I was hearing, it sounded like TJ was thinking, oh, I could have this done out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what he's
Well,
saying.
Okay, so, yes.
Maybe.
And-
I would say
and
maybe.
It
Maybe,
is,
yeah.
right, it's
And
a,
which would be great because the towns have to notice and they have to go through it. And
Right.
since the two towns like Egremont and Monterey
Yeah.
are mid-June,
Yeah.
a week before their
Right.
two-week notice to look through it would be
Yeah.
great. But I think we settled on the 20th, someplace between the 15th and the 20th of getting it out.
Yeah, and so, I don't know, I don't think, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you
really
too. Why
okay.
don't you go back, go ahead.
So the one of the concerns that I raised last night is the closer that we can get to understanding the offsets that we can have will reduce the number of conversations that I have to have with human beings about jobs that would need to be reduced. I absolutely understand and will work with whatever timing the towns tell us to work with. But the more time that we can have, and I'd like to credit Tara White from
Yes,
New
I was about to
Marlborough,
say, thank you.
who spoke very eloquently in the final round of public comment, saying the towns gave you the gift of time to use the gift of time. I don't want to speak to any human being in this district to tell them that I think their job is at risk. If by waiting a little bit longer, that can reduce the number from, say, I'm just using round numbers. Let's say on May 14th, in order to get to the 6% the school committee asked for, because we don't have all the offsets identified, let's just say round numbers, I have to talk to 12 people and say, in tonight's budget, I'm going to be offering your position as a possible reduction to close the gap. If by waiting a week, that number can be reduced to 6, I think that's the humanistic way to approach it. That said, I've heard from 2 towns already. I didn't have the update from Ms. Alcantara, but I've heard from 2 towns already that would be okay with the special town meetings being at the end, towards the end. I offered the week of June 22nd. Maybe all 5 towns can do it, maybe they can't. Again, I've only heard affirmatively back so far from 2, and 2 have said that that timing would work for them. And I will say, I would rather go slow and get it right the first time than be potentially bringing more information to a town meeting to say, oh, in the past 2 weeks, we've identified this, and, you know, this will change X, Y, and Z. But that's, I will do what the towns ask and what this body asks me to do.
Yeah. So we did talk a bit last night about that timeline of how to count the calendar back, because they have to have at least 2 weeks to post, but probably another week for the select board and the finance committee to meet as well. And so, you know, I hope we get something really solid in mid-May. You know, our next full school committee meeting is the 14th, which means probably that 2 weeks from, you know, yesterday would be the 13th. We'd have that open listening session, I guess we can call it, and then the finance meeting. Maybe we will have more information and it'll feel more solid with offsets at that time. I'm not sure. I think I saw Nancy's hand up even before I started talking. Then I'll go to Bonnie.
I think, I also too, like you were saying, Bonnie, I think that one of the things that this came out in the update as well, that yes, there's going to be time to get it to the right stage, but I think that TJ for the first time sounded not like, WTF did I get myself into here? Do you know what I'm saying? And it was a huge change.
It was a shift.
And I think it was also
yesterday.
to that with talking to Tara, and I think there have been conversations with members in Sheffield. And to your point, Kim, I think that the fact that the towns not only have they given us the extra time, they're also, at least the towns that I'm aware of, are also really clear that they want it to be accurate, that they don't want it to be amorphous, and that might not be comfortable for a while, but that it's better to work that way than not. But I think for the first time, like as they were, as both Julie and Brian said, Yeah, and you alluded to, I think it was a huge change, a huge change, which is so good. I mean, it's just kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, so speaking of all of that and looking at the calendar ahead, you know, I would love to say, oh, a goal is we have meeting dates on the bottom of our agenda. Oh, you know what, Kim, before I go, your hand was up before I need to talk. No, Bonnie, sorry. Yes, sir. Bonnie, go ahead.
So,
I'll come back to this.
I definitely agree with Nancy. I really felt like, from my Zoom perspective, that TJ sounded so much more in charge, responsible in terms of what he would say. Does that mean we have everything? No, we recognize. But speaking to a couple of things. One, normally when you pass a budget, your numbers can go down, but they can't go up.
Right.
Now, this is more a legal question, because what we said at that meeting, we wanted to use 6%. Since we weren't passing a budget,
Right.
can you find out whether we are bound by that?
I think it
whether
said up
we
to, I think the motion was up to 6%, and 6% was the cap.
Yes,
Yeah, I
but what
thought-
I'm saying
Is that legal?
Legally,
Oh, are we
when you,
legally?
when you pass, we didn't pass the budget.
No,
If
we
you-
didn't. We
right.
passed an assessment percentage, which was
Right.
like so
So
backwards.
that's
Yeah.
why I want to know, and
Okay.
anyone who wants to make the call, if you do, are we bound by the usual rule, not usual rule, that what you have to do, you can go down, but you can't go up. But because we did everything blank backwards,
Yeah.
do we have the freedom to make another movement?
Okay.
We can double check.
We can
Yeah.
find that out.
Sure.
The other thing I would like is there may be things that, because of, you know, the investigations, that started out, which according to TJ, they actually are helping him get information that he didn't have. Is it possible that he can find out, is there something upcoming and we should wait another, speaking to what you said, Brian, should we wait another 3-4 days before doing something? So if he,
Are you talking about D&D?
I'm talking about anything that potentially is still missing, where he would say, or you will direct him to call the people he's working with from revenue, from whatever, and say, we still don't have this. Can you help us get this within the next one? Because I agree, the last thing on earth you want to do is be riffing teachers where you don't have to.
And I think that, to that point, TJ and Jen put in the $500,000 to make this budget
That's very
match.
generous of them.
But what I'm saying is they put it in to match the 6% ask of the school committee. That's not a final number, because we don't have E&D. There will be, he said on the call last night, there will be other offsets.
I heard.
I will be comfortable if we can include as many offsets as possible. Obviously, I can't wait for E&D to be certified from 25 so that we know what we have for 26, so that a number can be put in there, which as you can see, I don't know why it's still there, but the hold number is 720. I certainly don't expect it to be 720, but even if it's half of that, plus the amount that they're using to get us to 6%, will get us hopefully below the 6%, and will even potentially have me talk to less human beings, if not none. You know, I mean, the goal is to say,
Exactly.
we want the humans that are doing the work here to continue to do the work here, if at all reasonably possible, given E&D and the offset. So I will reach out to both Josh and TJ to those questions.
And that he, is then follows up with our investigators. Now, my last part, no, I think if that could save you, I agree with you.
I totally agree. No, I agree. That's what I'm hoping for.
Now, the last part is not, it can be very popular with some, but because we had to go through all of this, And I heard, now, I'm not on the committee, so I don't know exactly. I heard TJ talking about collapsing lines. And truthfully, this is just my opinion, one person here, and I won't be going through this next year. I think we should have the more detailed version first. I would like to see the complete detailed version so we can understand rationales to then collapse lines. I think it would make us better advocates for our budget if we know the items that are there. And it's more difficult, or it may be simpler, but his rationale from Open Architect's perspective may be different from our rationale for having to speak to our towns.
Yes.
What you have in your hands is everything as is with multiple lines. I'll speak to a perfect example. Kate sat with us today at leadership. I shared with them the information that I gave to the school committee. She pointed to me to one line and said, this isn't right for this person. I said, that's right, they're paid out of two different lines. They're in this other line. So what you all have in front of you, there's been no collapsing yet.
Okay.
So we will continue to hold on that because the goal is
Good.
town meeting and budget. And there may be recommendations. For example, I'll keep picking on Jesse. If you look at the current budget that's out there, Jesse is being paid out of two different lines. It gets to the same, like to Carl's point, it all goes to the same place. He's getting his right check, but it's coming from two places. So nothing has been changed, even though it would be very easy to, English, right? You're an English teacher?
He was an English teacher.
English teacher is where part of, was it English or social studies?
Social studies.
Oh, okay. I thought so. So part of his line, part of his salary currently is coming from a line that says Mount Everett English or ELA, and part of it says Mount Everett Principal. It would be very easy for TJ and Jen right now to zero out that English and put it all in principal, but we haven't done that yet. Nobody has made those changes.
All right, but in a previous version, because I actually went at one of our plays up to Jesse and said, what's happening? Because in planning 2027, about a third of his salary disappeared because it wasn't in.
We've made none of those changes. Those changes are still there. He wants to, because part of what we said when we hired him was, please help clean this up. We're not there yet.
But when I added up, I figured out what had to have been with Jesse currently. But then I looked at 2027, this is an older version.
Right, what you have there is
current.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you
So
for the
hopefully
answer.
it's all there.
My pleasure.
Okay. Kim?
I think the discrepancy between the two, I got two things. Salaries was because half of it was paid by a grant. Excuse me. So, it was paid half by grant, half by that. But I'm looking at this right here, and you're saying that, you know, TJ put in a couple of offsets, and the two you mentioned aren't in here.
Right at the bottom it is.
The only one, school
There's
choice.
school choice at just above total spending.
It's 518,000.
That's
what
the
it means.
only offset that he put in. And that was just to
Yeah.
get that was just an example
Yeah.
of using those resources to get the total
So you
assessment.
said E and D.
No.
Ian,
I said
no,
it's
not there.
It's not. in
Well,
there.
actually, though, you said it was
But it's a
hold
whole.
of
It
seven-
is. I mean,
Oh,
like
it
you
is
see
a
it, it's a
hold.
whole.
Yeah, it's a hold.
That's
It's not.
It's not counted.
He's showing it as a
Right.
variance.
Exactly.
So it's not
that being like
there yet.
200,000 than what the Senate or the House is giving us, he's opting not to use it all, I assume.
Yes, for 70 and chapter 71, these are governor numbers.
So isn't, and school.
He
choice,
just
but-
used, so
Right.
to clarify, they just used that to give us an exemplar at 6%.
But then when you go to total spending, he did take off the 518.
Correct.
That's the only
That's
offset.
just
That's the only one.
as an exemplar to show everybody what 6% would look like today.
But that drops at 2%. It says 8.3%, not 6%.
No, but if you go back up, the total assessments at the top, the second group is what the school committee asked for, right at the top on the first page. Under revenue, it says assessments, total revenues to the town is 6%. So they just are using that number to get us to show an example of what total towns would pay at 6% assessment.
So here's my thought. So if 518 drops us to 8.3 and we have a lot of studies. Okay, so say usually we have at least close to 2 million in grants, whether we have a little bit less, a little bit more, what have you. So if 518 brings us to 8%, and if we get the grants coming in, then we should be well below our targeted area of 6%.
But
Before we even use E&D or the 92% or the actual numbers
Yeah.
for the.
Well, that's why I think we feel positive,
Right,
but.
so we don't really need to worry, I mean, that's what I'm saying is, if we start plugging in the house numbers, if we start plugging in our
Right.
known grants and stuff like that, let's get a more realistic number
And-
before we worry about,
Oh, yeah.
talking to bodies or laying off 12
Right.
people.
Yeah, and that's what we
That's what
expect
we're
to
trying
see.
to do, right.
Yeah,
That's
TJ
exactly
said
it.
that
But like I
probably
said, I know
at,
for school choice right now is usually in a revolving fund, not even on the general fund, because it's self-supportive.
right. And so maybe some of these offsets will be substituted. We
Agreed.
could use less school choice if we don't need that. I mean, I'm expecting in 2 weeks, we'll see more of the
Offsets.
offset estimates.
We'll have E&D,
And we'll have that.
more offsets.
But I wouldn't plan on $2 million in grants,
Right.
just because so many seem to be at a slightly lower level. Now, how much lower? I don't know. But
But you have to make an assumption on what grants you're receiving, and you're gonna have to use some kind
That's
of
right.
historical data.
1,000%, and that's
Because
what
that's
the,
what budgets are, because technically, none of our funding comes in until August.
That's right. No, you're absolutely right about the timing of all that, Kim. And that's what we talked about last night. And TJ said, I asked him, one of us asked him, somebody asked him, will we see more offsets in 2 weeks?
Well, I asked him for a list
And he
of
said, yes. Yes, so, this is still a snapshot. It is still a work in progress. That is absolutely what
Right.
we're expecting. So will we use that exact school choice number? Maybe not.
right.
Maybe-
That, again, that
that'd
was
be nice
just,
to not.
I asked them to put together something that would match what the school committee asked for, and so they said, we'll use about $500,000 in school choice to get you to a total town. Now, I will also point out that with this, Sheffield would be paying 7.1%. We would be asking the town of Sheffield. I'm not comfortable with that. So this gives me, on the front page, Bonnie.
On the
No,
front.
she said
No, I
neither
know.
is she.
Oh, no, I
No,
thought you
it's
said where,
Sheffield.
I
No,
thought you said
they're-
where Sheffield. So,
No.
so
Right down the street.
in
Yeah.
my head, that says to me, to actually Bonnie's point, I have to go below 6%. I'm gonna be looking for less than a total town assessment of 6%, because I don't want anybody paying 7%. So this was instructive to me and to our team to say, all right, we have to have our list tight, we need to know where the offsets are coming from. I feel relatively confident saying that by the next time we have a public information session from Open Architects, we'll have E&D, and that will help inform how much we need to use other offsets to get our numbers to a place that's more palatable.
But
Not
I
just,
do believe Sheffield said that they didn't want 6%, they wanted lower.
They do want lower,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
and
do.
that's why when they see their
Yeah, and that's
assessment at
what-
7.1, they're not, people aren't too happy. Yeah, understandably, yeah, no, that's a lot to ask
Sorry, I
Sheffield
missed that's what
taxpayers,
he
yeah.
was saying.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
Yeah, so I think
We're getting
we're
there.
we're
Yeah,
saying
we're
the
getting it.
same
We're getting it.
thing, maybe
Yes.
with some different words, but I think we're on the same page. So in trying to think about timelines and budgetings, one of the things we were kind of thinking about
Yes.
was meeting schedule too, because, we know a couple of the towns said they would probably schedule their meetings the third week of June. We know we have Egremont looking at the second week of June. We know, I think you said Monterey was looking earlier.
13th.
I haven't heard that yet, but, you're telling us, so that's fine. So as you count back the calendar, we would, if we were to be able to accommodate, and we won't know until the 14th. You know, when we come back together. And I am so excited to almost have as a goal, we're not changing meeting dates. But on the other hand, if we were to meet the second week of, have the vote for a couple of towns the second week of June, we would probably need to meet before Memorial Day. And our meeting on the 28th is already scheduled and it's aligned with Sarah's celebration of learning. So just thinking about that, if we were to look at that middle week between the 14th and not the 21st, because that's the elementary open house.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm just wondering what people's thoughts are, perhaps canceling one of the meetings or collapsing to just do a very condensed agenda. If we needed to do that, say we see something on the 14th, we're comfortable, and then we say, okay, we want to come together and vote early the following week to get information to towns. How does that sit with people? Because I know we're all tired of all the extra meetings.
And may I add, we would need at least, we need that special 2/3 because it's a budget. So we're going to
Oh, yeah, to adopt,
we're
we
going to
need
need
2/3.
almost all of you to be either physically in attendance or
Or
on
on
Zoom
Zoom.
to vote for
Yes,
that. So
yes.
this will be really important that we're looking
Yeah,
at
we would need
calendars.
7 people, the way the regional, yeah, we need 2/3 of the full number.
We would have to have it by before the 21st, like a budget, because you have to get it to select boards and finance committees.
Well,
the
that's why,
following week.
yeah, that's why I counted back, and I figured if we were to do it, we would have to, it would have to be very early. The 21st is that Thursday. If we could do it, you know, Monday the
19th
18th,
or
Monday,
18th,
Tuesday, that week, how would people feel about that? I'm personally not excited about adding another special meeting, but I wanted to get,
And what I would offer is then we would not necessarily need to meet on the 28th. I mean, we could come for the celebration of learning, but I'm cognizant of the fact that I was having a conversation with one member this week who said, hey, we have meetings 3 nights in a row, and we're trying to recruit new members to come and be a part of our party. Don't point, Ms. Worthington.
Do you really need the 14th?
well,
Our hero.
well, that,
If we're gonna meet the
well,
18th?
well,
Well,
that's
that's
what,
part of the
that's
question.
part of the question.
Can we come to a place where we can agree that we'll meet twice in the month of May to accommodate the earlier town schedule? If that includes, to Kim's point, Ms. Alcantara's point, dropping the 14th and adding either early the next week and holding the 28th,
Yeah.
or some other combination thereof. I'm so sorry, Bonnie's had her hand up.
Yeah, go ahead, Bonnie.
Okay, 2 things. One, we had picked the 19th to do the potential orientation of new people.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we haven't even,
Gotten there.
haven't said that out loud yet, but yes, that
Right.
was the date that we selected for
And
that.
the other thing is, Brian, did you do yet the superintendent's award?
I was just informed about that at leadership today.
When, do we,
I'll be working on
We're
that.
gonna do it the 28th.
There we go. We're going to do it on the 28th with the celebration of
The
learning.
day before
Yes.
the last day of school for
When's
seniors.
awards,
Right.
when's awards night?
well, that's why we need that's why we need a calendar.
Awards night is right before graduation. So,
Right.
5th?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Fourth?
No.
Third?
Third.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
Wednesday night before.
Because, you know, the award, since you weren't here for it last time, the award by the superintendent, the family's invited, we have a break, you know,
It's really fun.
they bring family and all, so we
excited.
don't want to make it just, here it is, goodbye.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no, and so in some ways, while maybe we do want to do something the week before that, if it makes sense.
I think
Is
right.
Memorial Day?
Memorial
early.
Day is the
Fourth or something like that.
20th.
Yeah, it's very early.
Memorial Day
Before what it
weekend,
should
Friday
be.
the 22nd, yeah.
Right, so it's that.
So the only reason I would suggest to do something on the 28th is in case there's any updates prior
Okay.
to the 2 weeks of posting for the meeting. So like if we get it on the 18th,
Maybe.
Well, we just said we had to do the 28th.
Wait, we're doing the 28th
Because
with
of the
the
superintendent.
Right.
superintendent's
So the question
award.
to the
We're
group
doing-
is, do you want to do it on, do you want to cancel the 14th and plan for either Monday or Tuesday of that following week?
I do Tuesday.
Well, Tuesday, since we haven't announced maybe we'll invite all these people to come to a school committee meeting.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Oh, okay, well, I
All
thought,
right,
Amy.
So, yeah.
Before we,
That's the one night I can't.
I'm all in favor of canceling a meeting, but.
We all could be in favor,
But-
but, yeah.
But before we cancel either 14 or 28, can we add what needs to be added for all of this? And then when we see that we don't need the 14th or whatever is decided, then cancel it? Because as soon as this is off, not just me, as soon as this is off the calendar, something's gonna be in its spot, and there's no getting it back.
Right.
So what's clear is that we have to add something at the moment. Can we just add that at the moment and then take it away as we move closer? Good idea.
You know what I wonder, Bonnie, what time did we say that new,
I just was thinking, let's make that an hour before.
that's what I was thinking.
And they
and
can
if-
stay for the school committee meeting if they want to.
Yeah.
Keep it the 19th.
We could,
No one may show up.
well,
After watching us for the,
okay.
So,
Yeah, whether it's 19 or 20, and what, we haven't publicly made the 19th
yes,
public,
correct.
right? So, I mean, that's just something that we were gonna talk about tonight. What's availability between the 19th and the 20th?
0
Two-
for me.
Both nights?
Yep.
Oh,
That's why this is really like.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't know, yeah, that's why, we're kind of between a rock and a hard place in figuring it out.
The 18th. I
The
do have
18th, Monday?
Yeah.
Monday, the 18th? As something, you can't do Mondays.
Yeah, Monday, I'll make it happen.
Oh.
I know now.
Well, that's why,
That's what we're trying to say.
that's why
Is
we're
there-
talking about
is-
it now, because it's so hard to.
There's nothing going on
find-
at school?
I'm gonna be out of town.
There's always.
Because I know, like, when's the choir concert? Because I know the band and stuff is the 12th, and I thought the following week was the choir, and then you got other, we need principals.
Jesse, do you know when the choir concert is?
Well, is there anything on the 18th? Is the
That's what we
best-
really
Yeah,
need to know.
yeah, we could consider Monday. May, yeah, May 18th.
May
I think
18th,
it's a little,
so May 14th.
May 18th, in addition, Amy's suggestion is in addition to.
yeah.
May
that we-
If
that
that
we-
happens, I say we take one off in mid-June.
Well, maybe we'll take one off too, but, well, maybe we
No,
can't,
in the-
because there's a lot of stuff.
Put it in as the 18th now,
Yeah.
till we figure this out, and then cancel the 14th or the
Yeah,
20th.
yeah.
That's what Amy was saying, like, put it in.
It's better
Right,
to
it's gotta
add
be
it.
put in
The band's
now,
on the 12th, but when's the
and
choir?
then take it away.
Why are we doing
Because
that?
it's not at the same time.
Katie, Katie,
Katie.
can we stop? We have to.
Sorry.
May 18th is
So
good.
right now,
May
on the
19th.
calendar, May 18th has nothing, wait.
Hold that,
Well, that's
There's nothing listed. May 19th is the 7 through 12 choral concert.
Okay, so, oh.
But
Yes.
again, yeah.
What about the 21st?
No, so the 18th.
We
you
can't,
said
that's
is
an
okay.
open house
That's
for the
the
elementary school.
the
Thank you for
18th is
asking.
good.
What's
I
that?
think
It sounds like the 18th, I think,
14th.
is our best bet if
I
we're
told the
trying.
14th and the 18th.
Okay.
And the 28th.
And the 28th.
Yeah.
Let's, so the
Okay.
only one we're adding right now is
May-
Monday, the 18th.
Okay.
Carl, does that work for you?
Yes.
Yep,
Okay.
so we have
I
three,
think Bonnie's
14,
the only
18,
one
and
that doesn't
28.
work.
Oh, no.
That's okay. I
Can you
need to
zoom?
be able to, I have family coming
Oh.
from California,
I'm
so I'm
sorry.
gonna be down in New York.
Oh,
I am too, because I'll be at meetings in the city. We'll just have to meet in Zoom.
You two
Would you
could
be
sit
able
together
to
and Zoom.
Zoom?
Yeah, right?
would you be able to Zoom perhaps for a short time?
As long as someone didn't buy tickets yet.
Oh.
If
Okay,
we
fair
started
enough.
at 5 or 5:30 before an 8 o'clock show?
Yeah, do it what, leave it,
But
whatever.
what we need to
may,
do.
what I'm saying is we may need, we need a certain
Oh, that's
number of
right,
people
exactly.
because it could be a budget vote.
Right.
So we need as many of you as humanly possible.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Could we
so
agree
let's
to-
say this. In order to accommodate Bonnie, we may need to be flexible on the earlier end so that Bonnie can continue to see her family from California and potentially make us all jealous by going out in New York City for dinner and then seeing a great show. Fair?
And I'm pretty sure Monday is usually dark.
Yeah,
in the
I was just thinking the same thing.
So
So,
I'm sure she didn't get
Okay.
tickets.
Monday, the 18th, potentially earlier than normal, but at least to accommodate.
Yeah, but probably not before 5.
No, I'm thinking
Not
5.
before,
No,
yeah,
I'm
5
thinking
would be
5.
the
Right,
earliest,
right.
yeah, nothing before 5.
Yeah, it
Okay.
can't be before 5.
Very good,
No,
yeah.
no, it was just,
Yeah,
I'm
that
trying
can't
to
do that.
accommodate
So
dinner
now-
and show.
So
Well,
we've
that
said
was
the
a-
14th, the 18th,
Hold the
and the
14th,
20th.
hold the
28th.
18th, hold the 28th.
And the 28th, all
Hold
right.
those 3.
Yes, so we'll put those 3 dates on and we'll try to accommodate. And
Yeah.
if we can cancel something or if we can shorten something, we
We'll do
will
that.
try to spread our 2-meeting agenda over 3 or
5
something.
p.m. is a tentative time.
Yes,
So
let's just hold that,
Yeah,
just in case.
yes, please hold.
Which is it?
All right, thank you very much.
5,
Okay.
1700.
Unless there's any objection, I will say that concludes our budget update conversation, and we'll go
Amen.
on to program of studies. Is everybody okay with that?
Please.
Yes? Okay.
Program of studies.
Mount Everett Program of
What?
Studies.
What a thought.
Wait, I just want to bring up.
Education.
How
Okay,
about,
excuse
how
me,
about
wait a
the
minute,
trip?
hold it.
While Brian or whoever is calling Stevie or Josh, can you find out if you come back to us and say you need a number other than 6%?
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
When do we have to,
Yeah.
we will have to vote before the
Yes,
18th.
absolutely. Yep,
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yep.
We have the
Good one.
14th.
yep,
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
why the 14th is there. That's why we're holding that.
Okay.
Information.
got it.
14, 18, and ditch 28.
If we can't, right, like
Well,
the
or
goal would
shorten
be yes.
28
Yeah.
for
No,
any.
Well,
the
and-
28th we
right.
have to have, because
Oh,
that's the
it's-
superintendent's award.
Great,
Right, well, yes.
we'll figure it out. Thank you. Jesse,
Excuse me.
Program of Studies.
All right, so the program of studies, as some of you who have been on school committee for the last couple of years know, has changed quite a bit. We made some adjustments this year, obviously, with a couple classes. We tried to put it in the change log, and as I looked through a little bit of the change log, we had a couple mistakes in there with some numbers. At the time when we switched over in our Rediker system, we had to wait, and so you'll see in one spot, there's 4 zeros that come up. We have a number attached to it now that we can put in. And some of the changes were small, like we had a full credit class that now we've turned into a half credit class in science, things like that. Some of them are small things. And then obviously there's some classes that we end up taking out with our changeover from Simon's Rock as our early college partner. There were a couple classes that we had in from last year that obviously come out because they're not going to provide us an instructor for the class. We haven't really put anything new in from our relationship with UMass that's being figured out now. And I don't know if it'll be ready for us before we get it out to the students. If it is, we will put it in there. And if it's not, we do it on the fly. We did that early on in our relationship with Simon's Rock, where kids would come back from the summer and we'd say to the juniors and seniors, oh, by the way, we have these classes you may be interested in. And so certainly we can do that if some of those decisions are made over the summer. You know, we feel like the program of studies is pretty robust in terms of the number of elective offerings we give the kids, considering the size of the school. You know, a lot of the classes that we have in there are going to be determined based on student interest. And so sometimes people will ask me when they look at like one department, how do you possibly have all those electives in English or history or science? They all don't run. You know, if one year we get a bunch of kids that are really interested in this elective, we run it that year, and the next year, if there's less interest, we might run another elective if we have more kids signed up. And certainly that goes with the early college classes as well. There's some of them that we have our own instructors here, Mount Everett faculty teach, that show up every single year in the program of studies because we get that critical mass of kids who are interested in taking it every year. And certainly with this new relationship with UMass, I'm sure some of that will change in terms of like, do some of them still run every year, or do we have a sequence where they're offered every other year with those electives? In terms of that, I know it's a lot to read. You know, I'm always happy to answer any questions here tonight. I'm always happy to answer any questions that people have after the fact. And it's a living document. Like, we'll eventually, if you guys all okay it and give your approval, and we get it ready to go out to students, we post it digitally on our website. We do not provide paper copies anymore to students or families unless they really need it. But we change it if things come up, like the addition of those college courses and things like that. So I'm happy to take any questions now.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jesse. I know as the new person, I asked you a million questions last year, so I won't do that this year. But I know Bonnie has her hand up, so I'll get to Bonnie, and I think, was your hand up? No. Okay, Bonnie.
Point of order, Madam Chairman, point of order.
Sir.
We're doing this out of order. This is a discussion, and a discussion follows a motion, and the motion being seconded. The motion should be made, which I will make now, is to approve the change log for the coming academic year.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Carl and Kim, for making a motion to approve the 26-27 Mount Everett Program of Studies. Now we'll have discussion. Thank you, Carl. Bonnie, you have your hand up.
Okay, so first I'll register my every year comment. We received this unusual 2 days, notice. I don't know whether you had it before or what is it, but it's always that same pressure. And I, for one, really like to see it, maybe with questions. So if there's anything you could do to alter this in the future, I really appreciate that.
Actually, Bonnie, Michelle sent it out the day before we even put our agenda up, just because she knew it was a bigger, but 2 days, 3 days, but it was before we were posted.
We certainly would like to get it out to you to give you a little more time. I think this year, one of the things we were doing was going back and forth with UMass a little bit to see if we could get it in. And I made the decision to hold on to it until recently, because I was really hopeful we could come to some agreements as to what would be in there. And there's just some logistics that we have to figure out. It's been a little more challenging just because of the distance to the campus. So we're looking at some online possibilities, because realistically, kids getting on that campus, there'd be very few kids that have the open space in their schedule where they don't need certain classes their senior year to graduate. Because obviously, to get to a class that's at like 1:15, they're leaving here a little before noon, it's a little challenging. So we're still going to work that out and still talk about possibilities. And they're working with their faculty to see if they'd be willing to. There are some people who have expressed that they're willing to come on our campus to teach, so we're hopeful that happens. We're just not to that point yet of being able to. So again, I apologize for you guys not getting it earlier.
And in terms of timing, it doesn't really have to wait for an agenda, as long as Brian knows that Jesse is sending it out to us.
Right.
We can look at it,
Anytime.
Anytime, and be able to.
Right, and that's why I appreciated that Michelle sent it out before we did put the agenda out.
So my next question is, where are the things that led to the Transcend projects? This was originally.
The studio, are you talking about?
Studio experience.
So the studio classes are listed, let me find the page for you. They're listed towards the end of it on page 72 is where those classes begin.
Okay, so in the whole, all right. See.
And we're using sort of the 8127 class studio inquiry as being sort of a catch-all for a lot of the open-ended studios where students could express an interest in studying a certain topic or tackling a certain problem of practice. We came up with sort of that name to try to, because most of those are inquiry-based.
And then they learn the methodology, which is what's.
Without question. And we kept our Studio 101 class, which primarily has been our ninth grade students, as a way to, that class operates more like everybody in the class, do you want to work on the same project? Do each have individual interests. We kind of leave it up to that group when they get together, because for the most part, it's been most of our ninth graders who have gotten in that. This year, we have a few upperclassmen in it, and they're kind of all doing different things, but last year's group sort of tackled the same things, and their big thing was working on something to help incoming middle school students for their first year of high school.
And then how are, decisions, for example, we're giving personal finance, and students were involved with 2 different organizations where they were getting real financial, training. How was that eliminated?
So some of the personal finance stuff, as the kids get to the end of their math experience, so the probability and statistics class gets into that a little bit. And then we also have some offerings with some of the dual enrollment with BCC that we do have some students occasionally who take that.
Because I know, only because of consulting with the organization, they worked with the state on the economics requirement.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you have anyone who's willing to do it, or
Yeah.
to what extent can you institute it. Which brings me to my last question. When you, in the overall picture of the department, math is pretty sequential, but when you get to social studies and English and some of the others, how do you go about crafting these changes in terms of the department?
So in terms of the department, the first thing they look at is what are our graduation requirements? And as we follow Mass Core, in some cases, we go above, like with social studies history, we ask kids to take 4 credits. Your Mass Core says they have to take 3. So we look at those sequences of like what makes the most sense. And then basically some of the decisions that are made are what electives are going to be most interesting to the students. And so, for instance, in social studies, some of the kids will take full year classes the whole way. We have the possibility of electives where kids might take something that's been really popular, geography, where they'll take as a half-year class, and then they'll pick up another half-year credit in history. Some of the kids do it in the sequence of like their senior year, where they'll do a half-year during the fall semester and then a half-year during the spring semester. There's other kids who will, during their junior year, make the decision, okay, I'll take, 20th century history, and then they pick up a half credit. So in their schedule, they have 1.5 credits 1 year and then 0.5 their senior year. And then we get kids who, love the subject area, and they'll take like the early college classes, and they graduate with 5.5 or 6 credits in history. Similar in science, or it just depends on.
I was social studies.
Yeah, we try to have that junior and senior year. We try to sort of have the flexibility that for kids who are like, I'm this type of student, or I'm focused on being a STEM student in college, they can really take way more credits than they need to in those areas if that's really of interest to them. And I think that's what has made the experience here so great for kids, considering our size, is that they do have the flexibility to do some of those things. Some of the kids who have gone on to be science majors in college have expressed that they were appreciative that they could take 5 or 6 science classes while they were here, or whatever their subject area preference was. So.
I love hearing how it stays student-centered.
Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah.
Other questions, Amy?
I have a question. I don't know that it's necessarily for Jesse or for the school committee. When we take this vote right now, what exactly are we voting on? And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I can clarify. Obviously, it doesn't matter if you gave me a week. I probably couldn't have read 92 pages, at least not to do it the justice that it needs to do for something for me to put my name on for voting. So, are we voting? Here's a couple of options. Am I voting that I put my trust in the administration and the content experts, the teachers that are creating the courses that we are offering the students? Or are we voting on the actual courses themselves, what we are offering course by course? Are we voting on what those course descriptions are? There's a lot in a program of studies, and when I got this program of studies, I was hoping it wasn't what I thought it was. I was hoping in this district it was something different, because I know how important it is. So I just want to clarify, because this is important, and I want to make sure that I'm very, very well aware of where my vote is being placed.
If it would help, I can tell you the process first on how this document comes together. So it goes to each individual department that we have here, and those departments look at it first and talk about what their interests are, if teachers want new courses and things like that. And then the department head will bring back their changes, and we'll discuss them and what is realistic and what is not, what we think will be interesting to the students. Some of the teachers do poll kids to see, like, if we did a course in this, would you be interested? That's how some of our early college classes have come about, where they basically went to. And then that's sort of how the document comes together. And so my job in it is basically to be the caretaker of the document. And I read through this thing a whole bunch of times in the hopes that we don't have any grammatical errors and that everything works with numbers, because we want it to reflect exactly what's in our system, so that we know that as we do this, because a transcript is a pretty important thing. And so there's a time that's taken for that. So that doesn't answer your question, but I just want everybody to understand sort of how that process comes about.
And exactly, and I've been in that department, and I've been the department head that put together all of the course offerings for the world language department. So that's why I know how much work it is, and each individual course is so important. So, I did not read through every single course. There was no way I could. I'm happy to. I love to do that. And I'm happy to do that, but there's no way that I could do that for today. And so that's why I'm wondering, is this more of a formality where we're saying, yeah, we trust everyone who put this document together? Or is this something that we have, a seat at the table to discuss? Not that I want a seat at the table to discuss the courses, because I trust the teachers and I trust the administration. It's just about where my vote is going.
Just remember, a school committee is governance. What they did was management. That's how I view it. It is their role to present that to us. We're putting our trust in what they're doing. Jesse's standing here, and this is what will go to students and families for them to choose their pathways and their courses. Carl?
Yeah, I think this is at least a partial answer to Amy's concerns. The school committee, as a school committee, has very little, if anything, to say about curriculum. We are not voting on whether or not we approve the courses that are being offered, whether they think we should be changed. That's why we have teachers, principals, assistant principals. We are just saying, with a vote on this, we approve the change log.
Right.
Not the courses that are being offered, not whether formally a one-credit course is now being offered as a half-credit. It's just not within our jurisdiction. So we're just voting on the change log that's been presented to us. It's kind of a pro forma approval.
It's a formality. We're voting on trusting the work they've done.
We're approving what they've come up with, not the substance of the courses, but whether the changes are acceptable to us. That's an administrative matter. That's a board, i.e. school committee matter. The courses themselves are not.
Are not, right, yeah, okay. So we have, Jim.
So Jesse, I think it speaks very well of you and your staff that you develop these courses. People stand up and say, yeah, I want to teach that, and I'll put together a curriculum and then college is accepted for credit. It's kind of the proof of the pudding here, and that's happening successfully. So yeah, I think it's great that you're giving the kids the opportunity to grow like that.
I mean, I appreciate that, thank you. I think one of the things that we've talked about the last, 5 or 6 years is just, as we talk about like a student-centered focus, just, talking to the kids about what they're interested in and then where do we go with that. Obviously, the early college program has helped a lot in terms of kind of what we can offer. And so in our former partnership with Simon's Rock, we added some more science classes that they taught because we had an uptick in kids who really were looking at futures in STEM, whether it was college or the workforce. And I figure that's the way it's going to go with UMass, is see where the kids are, what they're interested in. And that's also the work that, Chris and Lindy have done with us with our innovation pathways. We focused on the first 3 because there was an interest in it by the students. There's other pathways we can develop through the state if we have enough kids that express interest in that. And I think that's all part of what we're trying to do here, which is, whether you go to college, whether you enter the military, whether you join the workforce immediately, what's in the program of studies that kids are interested in that help them find that pathway. And that's one of the things that's been really nice with our flexibility junior and senior year have been the internship opportunities. Because for some kids, they've really found it helpful to find an internship that's only one period during the school day because they have so many interests in, I want to take this class, and this class. And then we have other kids who are like, I'd have this opportunity to do this job. I'd love to do like a half day. And we have kids that leave at like 12:06 and actually for the second half of the day are in the workforce. Some of those kids actually have paid internships. And so it's been really helpful. And I could give you examples of kids who have done that as like, hey, I'll try this out. And then they graduate and that's what they're doing now. And so it's carried into jobs, and we've had kids who then turn it into a full career. Unfortunately for me, I've been here long enough to show my age that, we have some kids who have graduated and now are 20 years into businesses they've started, which began with an internship at their time at Mount Everett, which is really cool. It's just not cool for me because it reminds me of how old I am. But so
Wait till they start having
I
children.
appreciate that.
Miguel?
The half credit system sounds like a great idea, really innovative. And do both students and teachers really enjoy that? It seems like it gives the flexibility you were talking about, which is, I think, is great for students to try things and basically add more credits incrementally and just for the diversity of it.
I think for some of the kids, it really is helpful because, the thought of, I take this for the full year sometimes. The idea that, I can take this science class E period for half the year and then switch over and take a history class in the spring for half a year, I think for some of the kids is exciting. And it's interesting. Some of the kids have like what we would consider to be a standard schedule where they come to school and take 7 classes that are full year classes. There's other kids who will do a whole bunch of different electives and then they can find their credits to graduate through that. And then with the early college, they're able to do a half-year class and get a full credit. And so it really opens up a lot of the possibilities there. And again, we also look at those classes of like the ones we run full year. Are we hitting the state marks and hitting the standards? And so for some classes, especially for 9th graders and 10th graders, it's those kind of things where those have to be full years to get to those standards.
Yeah, but it sounds like a great system.
Well, I appreciate that.
Okay. Nancy, then Kim?
I think one thing too that I want to say, Jesse, is that I think that you're also, with this format, creating lifelong learners who are not afraid to fail. And I think to your point about the half credit, what happens if I push this button is often not an explosion of the challenger, and I think, so I think that's really important. And I think that is something that I've seen, at least in my kids, even prior to all the academic changes that have happened. I think that's been something that Mount Everett or that Southern Berkshire's been leading to for many, many, many years. Because I look at my kids, both my kids and their friends who are all
They may be doing different types of jobs, but they're all lifelong learners. And I think that's an incredible gift.
And that's a great point, because that's really one of our goals, right? We want to create lifelong learners, and how do you do that? How do you build curiosity from the time the kids are the youngest with us to the time that they leave here? And I think that's sort of one of the main goals for us to get to.
Okay, Kim?
Two things, two examples. My daughter, who's a senior, is knocking off a good chunk of her college requirements, but like some of the lower level requirements.
Yeah.
This coming year when she enters. And also for Lindy, who actually is working with her, because there's actually several different ways to use them when she works with a college. And I found one of them is you don't have to transform and use them all in the first year. You could actually offset.
Amortize them.
And lower the count of college, classes you have to take per year to lighten your schedule. And she works with the colleges to get those accepted. So kids who might be like anxiety or stressed or, nervous about going to college, they can actually get a little break. So I found that interesting to find out. Second, with our internships and our pathways, one of the kids from our school who started as an internship and chose it as a career shows up on my job sites as a plumber working for one of the local companies, and he's like one of the most hardworking kids I've ever seen.
That's great.
So, and he started here. So even though we're not a VOTEC school, we still have opportunities to explore
Provide
those fields.
I appreciate you bringing that up, because that has been one of the things that I think I've been most proud about, is that we do have that programming where we don't have some of those traditional voc programs, but if we can get kids hooked up with the right people, and really what it is in an internship is finding out, is this really for me, right? Like I'm sure we have all our own experiences about our own kids where you're like, this really helped them. And sometimes it can be small. Like my daughter's in PA school as a graduate student, and it really started with the Doctor for a Day that she did her sophomore year as the job shadow day, where she got in there with a doctor and was like, wow, I really love this, right? So that's a small one. But for some of the other kids, having that internship and going to that every day for a while, they really get the idea of, is this for me? And we've had some kids who have been really successful with it and stay with that. We've had other kids who are like, wow, I really thought that was for me. My wife has had some kids who have tried childcare, and they're like, I really thought this was my future. I don't know if I can do this with little kids. And, a couple of them have gone on to be teachers and realized, like, hey, older kids are more for me, or gone into something completely different. So that's really the beauty of those internships. And I think in the end, we're trying to give kids as much experience as we can. And I think the program of studies we offer, gives a lot of different choices in ways to get to where they want to get to.
That's great. Thank you. Well, we have a motion on the floor. I wonder if we perhaps could be ready to vote.
Sorry.
Yes? Okay. Carl, I'll start with you this
Yes.
time. Art?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Miguel? Kim?
Yes.
And Bonnie? Yes. And Julie, yes. Thank you, Jesse, very much
Thank
for
you
a
very
very
much.
in-depth presentation.
I appreciate everybody
Answering all our questions.
voting in the affirmative, because that allows us now to get it to the kids and start
That's
the
right.
process for next year.
That's
So,
right.
thank you.
We're still in
Appreciate it.
business. Get it to the kids. That's right. Okay, so next on the agenda is an overnight field trip request from Mr. Barrett for a hiking trip from Blance Road.
He's online if you have
He
any
is,
questions.
very good. To Tyringham, May 3rd to May 5th, and there's approximately 12 students. And thank you, Pat Barrett, for being there. I don't know if you have any brief remarks about,
Should I make a motion?
yeah.
I
should we
make
take-
the motion to approve.
I, second.
Okay, motion to approve by Art, seconded by Kim, and now we can discuss. Any comments, Mr. Barrett?
Good evening, everybody. Nice to see everyone. We haven't done our overnights for our hiking leadership in the environment class for a number of years. So this is going to be kind of our first foray into it since COVID. We've got 9 students going on the first hike. Unfortunately, we have 3 baseball players that have a game on Monday, so they won't be able to participate. But hopefully the next hike, we'll get all 12. But really looking forward to getting out on the trail and learning, putting into practice what we've been learning about this semester. Anybody have any questions?
Nancy?
Oh, I think it's great. It's not a question. I think if I have any questions, it really has to do with what you're doing for preparation for really crummy weather, having done the Appalachian Trail in 3 days of soggy rain and ended up at Goose Pond knocking on somebody's door at 2 in the morning to go home. Call my mother.
Rain builds character.
Did not create hypothermia.
I like that answer.
Actually, one year Glenn had to pick us up because we hiked 8 miles and 6 inches of snow.
Yeah,
So
right,
hopefully that will
exactly.
be home.
Okay.
No, I think it's great.
Very
All
good.
my kids love doing it, and I think I'm thrilled. that
Great.
It's coming back, really thrilled.
Great. Anything else? I think we can vote? Yeah? Bonnie?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Miguel?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Tim? Art?
Yes.
And Carl?
Yes.
And Julie, yes. And don't go away, Pat, because we will seek a motion to approve the overnight field trip request, again from Mr. Barrett, South Egremont Road to Fernside and Tyringham, May 17th to 19th.
So moved.
Second.
All right, approved by Kim, moved by Kim, seconded by Art. Any questions of Mr. Barrett on this trip? Similar idea, just a different location.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. We get to do, the nice thing is that the 2 locations are close to where the kids live, so, you know, they might do a day hike and discover something new. So it's gonna be a good experience.
Great, great, thank you. Ready to vote? Bonnie?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Miguel?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Nancy?
Oh, yeah.
Jim?
Yes.
Art? And
Yep.
Carl? And Julie is yes. Thank you, Pat, for being with us tonight. Both are
Thank you,
approved.
everyone. I appreciate it. Have a
Thank you,
good
Pat.
evening.
Okay,
Great
you
time.
too,
Take
thank
good
you.
pictures.
Okay, next we'll need a motion to approve the field trip request, again, overnight. This is from Josh King to Fairmount, West Virginia,
So
for
moved.
the Northeast Aerial Drone, May 13th to 16th. May is busy.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Kim and Art have made that motion. Questions? Chris?
I will field any questions for Josh. 'Cause it's really it's the same, there's 2 trips right there. They're both kind of the same thing. They're just split by
I was
days,
wondering
that's
the
all.
same.
Can we do the both at
Could
the
you
same,
amend
because it's
your-
just middle
Yep.
and high school?
Yeah.
Could you amend your motions
I'd like to
to?
amend my motion to accept both middle and high school field trips to Fairmont, West Virginia for the drone competition championship.
Very good. And Art's
Second.
good with seconded, thank you. Okay,
Second
Chris,
and a
tell us
second.
about them briefly.
This is the same trip that we went on last year. It's just, and we actually did it 3 years ago as well, but this is the first time we're sending multiple teams. So, and they've split out middle school and high school. So the event is the top 60 drone teams, middle school wise, and then high school wise. So the middle school compete on Thursday and Friday. High school competes Saturday and Sunday. So we kind of have to split this into 2 trips. Otherwise, we've got middle schoolers hanging around for 2 days waiting to go home, and high schoolers waiting for 2 days to compete, and that's probably not good. So the middle school is going to be taken by Josh King and Ryan Meyer, and change in supervision, we're going to have Karen Dudley, middle school special ed teacher. She's going to go along. Josh has a son on the team. She has a son on the team. Ryan's going to go as he's been my co-coach for this year, so he's going to handle the technical side of the things there. They're going to go down on Wednesday, compete Thursday, Friday, come back on Saturday. I'll be going down with Eli and Nico, 2 students that were there last year. They made it again this year with Eli's father, Stuart. He and I will take them down on Friday. They'll compete Saturday, Sunday. We'll come back Monday. But these are the top 60 drone teams from Maine to Virginia, out to Ohio. That's is where they hold this competition. Fairmont State University has a very big aeronautics aerospace program. There's a NASA center in town. The kids get to see the prototype of the Dragonfly drone, which is NASA's drone that will be being sent to the moon Titan.
I know.
Leaves
So
in
jealous.
2028. It arrives on the moon in 2034. Titan has an atmosphere that is like twice the density of Earth's atmosphere, but has like a tenth of the gravity. So some of the scientists are there. They talk a little bit about that and what is entailed in that mission and what it will be doing and things like that. So.
Great, thank you. Questions, Carl?
Yeah, this is just a procedural matter.
Yes, sir.
In general, it is not a good idea to combine two agenda items into one vote, because sometimes, not in this instance, but sometimes people will approve of one and not approve of the other, and that means repeating the procedure again, separating them. Here, it's understandable,
Yeah,
but
I
as a
think so.
general
Thank you,
rule, it's
Carl.
not a good idea.
Appreciate you saying
Yep,
that. Thank you.
yeah, I do appreciate that. Anything else, Bonnie?
We were selected for both, the team of ours.
Yeah, the way this goes is the event, think of it as the NCAA basketball tournament. You have conference winners that get like an automatic invite, and then you have really good teams that maybe didn't win their conference, but they get at-large bids. One of our middle school boys team that's going, they won their event in Bristol, Connecticut back in early March. So that was an automatic invite to this championship. And then there's a world skills ranking. There's about 2,000 teams worldwide that do this program. And they keep a world ranking list based on their piloting skills, their autonomous drone coding skills, and how they perform in each of their matches. So our high school team, Eli and Nico, were about 100th in the world. And if you filter for the Northeast and high school, they were like top 20.
That's awesome, wow, congratulations.
And then we have our middle school girls team, which was right on the cusp. They were like one of the last teams that got in, but they were like ranked 60th. When you filtered for Northeast and middle school, they were like high 50s, and they got one of the last invites to go.
Oh,
Great.
yes,
Very good.
very good. Are we ready to vote? I think so. Carl?
Yes?
Yes.
Art? Jim?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yeah.
Amy?
Yes.
Miguel?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Bonnie? Julie? Yes. Thank you, Chris.
Thank
Good
you,
luck.
Chris.
We'll be look forward to hearing the results. We'll be seeing you in May. Well, and before. Okay, next on the agenda. I placed this item, discussion about the legal counsel review. Basically, it was one of those things in terms of trying fresh starts and also with budget considerations to think about our legal counsel, who we've worked with for many, many years, 20, 25 years, obviously at least, but just to assess, and it's a periodic review that's a good practice, what services to receive, at what price, what other options are out there. And so that is the discussion is here. Is there enough appetite in terms of looking at possible fresh eyes to be able to assess that and perhaps explore more in depth with Attorney Coleman that we have been using the last probably 8 or 10 years, and other firms. So Carl.
Well, as you know from my letter to you,
Yes.
from my email to you, which is now a public record, this matter has appeared before on the agenda of the special meeting of April 16th. It came, to put it mildly, from out of the blue. Murphy, Lemire, and Murphy have been our attorneys for in excess of 2 decades. Their reappointment in reorganization every November has been totally a pro forma matter. Without discussion, no one has said a word in 20-plus years about their adequacy, inadequacy, charges, and in fact, we get a significantly reduced rate from their ordinary charges to private clients. Yet someone, and I know what is going to be said in response to this during public comment today, and I'm not responding to public comment, but someone who I believe knows very little, if anything, about our history with Murphy, Lemire, and Murphy, has suggested that new beginnings. Well, we've had new superintendents before. We have never changed law firms because of a new superintendent. And I defy anyone to tell me why, at this point, and it looks very suspicious to me, as I pointed out in my letter, why we are even thinking about that without some concrete example of what they have done wrong. The fact is, as we learned, I can't say it. It happened in executive session. I'm sorry I can't say it. But I think we have adequate proof. And I worked with Ms. Lemire, who's now of counsel to the firm.
McNulty.
Michelle McNulty. Oh, did I say Lemire?
Yeah.
I don't know why. But that's a long-term memory issue. And I've worked with her as being the liaison between the contracting parties, the teachers, the paras, and we had a good working relationship. I doubt that there's anybody on the school committee who can say anything negative about that firm. Are they perfect? No. Who is? Have they made mistakes, errors of judgment? Undoubtedly they have. But does anybody know, I think I invite anybody here to speak out on a good reason why they should be replaced. We have a reorganization. We have it every November. If the committee wants, and it's going to be a largely or a significantly different committee at reorganization this November, they can choose to switch. Why are we doing it in midstream? It seems to me lunacy, or not quite lunacy, that's a little bit strong, but near lunacy to even think about it. And I have no, I mean, they're not giving me any percentage of their fee for standing up for them, but I think that it would be a significant mistake. And I dare say, has anybody spoken to Josh Coleman?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we had a meeting with him multiple times, and we met, the three of us met with him today. And had a conversation
I
with
didn't
him.
finish my question.
We
My
have
question-
talked with Carl, yeah. And Josh understands that it was a procedural, that it was just, okay, we have new school committee leadership. I mean, that's unusual to have that shift now. We have a new superintendent. We're looking at some fresh eyes. We're looking at budget. That's all. So he understands that.
He understands that you're seeking to replace him.
No, he understands that we're seeking to explore, and that includes keeping Lemire and Murphy. It's just looking at what options are and what's out there.
Then I have a question. Then I have a question for you, Julie. Do you have any? Can you come up with any reasonable explanation of why, in the 20+ years, this has never arisen? Why we decide at this moment of change that we need to look at this with fresh eyes?
I just think it's a fresh start, but we've got other people that would like to do that. So
Okay.
I think it was Kim, and then I'm not sure which of these two ladies.
I'm the last one.
Kim, yeah.
So, a lot of what Carl says resonates. First, historical knowledge. There's never been an issue. They do give us a big discount. But if you're not comfortable with the person that is working currently with the school district, a new lawyer can be provided. It does not have to be Josh Coleman. It can be somebody else within that firm to come forward to work with them.
And I suspect I think that's.
Wait a minute, Nancy.
But to throw away 20 years of working with our district history and keeping us out of trouble for a very long time, for a very, again, discounted rate, is, has some weight. And like I said, not everybody likes who they put forth, but the person they put forth can change. Laws and the advice that they give will change, and it'll be a different view than the one we have. So it's just a thought. So
Yes, no, that's why it is open for discussion, absolutely. Nancy?
No, I don't think I'm next.
Oh, Amy, were you next?
Oh, I think Miguel was.
Oh, Miguel, sorry.
I just, to my understanding, this is an evaluation and not necessarily an immediate replacement, and I think after 20 years, it's fair to do an evaluation. Perhaps there's another firm that would give us a steeper discount. Who knows? You know, but I think, you know, an evaluation doesn't
Or a
hurt.
reevaluation.
Yeah, or a reevaluation.
Or, you
Yeah,
know,
whatever,
evaluation of
however.
possible
Yeah.
other firms who could step in. Perhaps that will bring to light that this firm is indeed the absolute best choice. Great.
It may be
Then
an affirmation. It's just something that is done periodically with a best practice to check in. The fact that we have had that company for a long time is a testament to them, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't look around on occasion. It just doesn't mean that. Okay, let me just check. Did you have your hand up or no?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, to Miguel's point, has anyone checked with any other councils to see if the rates are the same or not the same? So we don't really know, without asking, which again is, I think, what this is really about. And it's not that something's necessarily been done wrong. I mean, we are up for election every however many years, and people may have their opinions on what each of us individually do correctly or do incorrectly. But, I mean, change is a really good thing most of the time. More than most of the time. So it's worth a discussion, which is what we're doing. And we never know what's out there until we start looking. You know, we're doing a lot of talk about budget and pricing and salaries and this and that too. So this really is and can be looked at as a business decision as well, right? Again, we don't know what's out there. We don't know what prices are going to be competitive or not. So this vote is not to fire anyone. It's not to hire anyone. It's a vote to open up the doors to take a look at other options.
Okay, hold on, I think Nancy did.
That's all I was going to say, just along those lines, so I don't need to.
Okay, and I think it was Bonnie, Kim, Jim, maybe? I'm not sure, I can't look both ways.
I'm going to go back to a word Carl's been using a lot in the past month, process.
Uh-huh.
The way we found out about this, remember our agendas are public,
Yes,
and I think it could have been done in a more tactful way in terms of, you know, looking at who services our school committee. It looked like the first time it appeared, wait a second, what's wrong with this going on here? And I think it would call for an examination that we look at, well, where has it been strong, where is it? I happen to like the way Michelle laid out negotiation, open item, how she did it, more than I like the way Josh does it.
okay.
So there are things, and then I would assume that you, since, as Josh reminds me all the time, he is the attorney for the school committee,
school
you would then speak and say, hey, let's talk through these issues.
Mhm.
I can tell you over the years, and they've been every kind of issue, including charges against us. We have had the services of basically anybody that the lead attorney felt was appropriate for dealing with the issue, whether it was trying to work on the licensing, with preschool, the early childhood program. They have experts in different areas, and they're always turned over to us. I can tell you from the years I had to look at bills, I knew that someone had spoken to whomever the attorney was for a lot longer than were being billed.
Mhm.
And I also know that there are cases where nothing was there at all, and I know someone spoke to them. So I really did not. I called Josh and I said, are you getting rid of us? That was the
No, I
first
know.
he heard.
No, and unfortunately, the timing was wrong
No,
on
that's
that
not-
because I had was planning to talk with him because I knew that from speaking with him that he was in a meeting, and to give him a heads up that we were gonna try to have a discussion,
I
and he
understand
got
what
you
you're saying.
first.
Let Julie
That's all, I just wanna
understand.
explain
It's the
that.
way
I did not
the
mean
words
for him to be
appeared.
blindsided.
Appeared on the agenda.
Yeah,
We were blindsided as well.
and I apologize for that wording.
Now-
My mistake. A new chair is gonna make mistakes, and I'm making my fair share, as
Now-
people can see. So,
Let me just finish.
thank you.
Over the years, we've gone through a number of different chairs with very different personalities. That firm has adjusted to us. We've dealt with some major cases. That firm has adjusted to us. So I think we're not talking about something that's done on a cycle, oh, you interviewed for a new superintendent, there's a process in place. I think it would be good to first take an internal evaluation from our school committee, because you may have had in the past few months experiences that none of us had before. But the way that it is handled is, again, goes to the good and welfare of the school committee and the relationship we have with a firm. I have seen Josh and others from the firm present at conferences. I know what he gives, and I know the way he works on weekends, works on holidays. You know, I've heard kids in the background and whatever. And I'm not saying that they are the only ones, but I think we have to look at process, and we have to look overall at the whole school committee and issues.
And that's
Okay, very good, okay, so,
I won't be living through this, but I'm resting my information now, and I hope you will question me before, I know you're here, Ken, before I leave.
thank you, Bonnie. Okay, Kim and then Jim.
Carl was first.
Oh, Carl
no,
was
wait,
first.
Jim was-
She hasn't said anything.
Okay, Jim, sorry.
Oh, wait, no, it's me first.
That's what I thought, yeah.
But Jim hasn't said anything.
Jim
the
hasn't.
No,
first
he
time.
has not. So Kim, and then
Okay, I'm
we'll go to Jim and Carl.
Okay,
Back to Carl.
mine actually question is to Carl, this being a long-serving member,
Okay,
et cetera. What is process?
What is process?
Yes, to doing all this.
Well, you don't mean in this specific instance. You mean in general, what I see as process?
As process to see that if this was to arise and we're to evaluate and to either continue or remove, what is process from step one to whatever?
Well, in general, not with regard to this specific matter, process is, in my view, and it's just, I don't say it's just my view, there may be some people in the world who agree with me, is getting from the beginning to the end, and the manner in which you do it matters to me. Because reaching a good result at the end has very much to do, in my mind, with how you get from the question to the answer. And it can easily be messed up, as we see all the time in government, in school governance, in many, many things, that getting to a good result, and people differ on what a good result, what a good result consists of, and sometimes only experience after the result tells you that you reached a good result. That process matters to me. So I hope that somewhat answers your question. But I'm not.
I was
Somebody
thinking more
is.
pertaining to this, but.
Well, pertaining to this is what I think. On reorganization, every year, we appoint a physician to be the school physician. We've done it ever since there has been a school physician. Now, people are talking about, Julie, our chair, has mentioned new beginnings. Well, how come no one has raised the issue of replacing the physician? New beginnings. Why don't we look at whether our physician is the person we want? It looks very contrived to me. It looks like it is a caving to pressure, and I don't know who the pressure comes from. But the people who developed that April 16th agenda, presumably there were two people, possibly three. Julie, our superintendent, possibly Amy. So something occurred to them to say, this is a new beginning we have to look at. And it didn't come from satisfaction, from a feeling of satisfaction with the law firm. It almost certainly came from a feeling of dissatisfaction. I have no idea what this dissatisfaction was, and I don't think it's important. I think it's only important because it shows to me, and I said that in my letter to, in my email message to Julie, it looks funny. It looks like there was some ulterior motive. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I mean, the fact is, when a corporation gets a new CEO, that's what we have here. They don't, if the law firm of this big corporation, whether it's Ford or Google, the first thing they do is not say, well, we have to reassess our attorneys, whether it's Case Scholler, Paul Weiss, Cadwalla, Wickersham, and Taft. We have to reevaluate that. Does it happen? Yeah, but the timing here is very, very suspect. Maybe not to others, but to me it is. Because I've lived through a lot of years of the practice of law and see how it works. It doesn't work that way in general. So I wonder about why it's now become a matter. And Amy mentioned a motion. I don't know what's the motion going to be. Motion to explore our relationship? Well, the time to explore that relationship is when we reorganize in November. It's only a few months away. There'll be plenty of time to do that. You can have a motion to replace the firm, a motion to put off reorganization, that aspect of reorganization. A lot of things you can do. This is an inappropriate way to do it, in my view. Sorry for taking way longer than I should have on the question of what is process.
Thank you. I was going to say, I think Jim, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to suggest that, I think that occasionally we should reassess our relationships with all the outside people we work with. Okay. But how do we know that they're not reassessing, that the law firm is not reassessing their relationship with us? I mean, I'm sure that they do that too in terms of their business. We take.
Well, you're not sure. You're guessing.
In terms of business, they never reassess their relationships with clients?
You and I and nobody at this table knows the answer to your question.
Well, as a professional, as a psychologist, I would reassess with patients whether I could continue with them or not, right? Maybe law firms do that too.
Well, we could ask them, couldn't we?
We could. Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Well, I asked Josh.
Jim, well,
They're fine with us.
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
But is
Wait-
that,
wait a minute.
okay,
Okay.
so there,
Nancy?
right now, all I'm calling right now is a couple of things that are questions about school committee process. And that was going to come, one, two tones of voice, like I should talk, since I am not known for having the quietest tone of voice on the process. But I think I'm feeling a little bit like there's a little bit of over pushing. Two, I think that one of the questions that's coming up is things like people calling Josh rather than going through Julie. I mean, I've made the mistake too. I mean, I've done that too. All right, so it's just things like process, talking about process and sort of staying within the guidelines. I think that there's been, I think that's one of the things that's coming up as far as looking. I think that to start having discussions with
whatever the law firm is called, to look at other options, see what other districts are doing, see what the parameters they're asking, what they're looking at. I don't think that's a problem at all. I think that that's not necessarily an immediate trashing of Josh. It's not a trashing of the law firm. It is just simply saying, some people would like to take a look at differently, at different options, and whether it seems like the time is suspect or not, I think is not really. I mean, it's good to take into to account and say that understand that there are individuals who feel that way, but I think it's not a bad thing to start the process, even if we wait until November to actually consider changes.
Yeah.
More
It wouldn't be right.
appropriate.
Right, but I mean, just to start the process now. I think it's not a big deal.
Okay, Miguel?
I mean, that makes sense to me, start the process now, perhaps wait till November to make any decision, because I think it should be a worthwhile investigation. I just don't think there should be any service or vendor that we use that goes 20 years without being evaluated.
Yeah, and I can, I can just speak to that as someone who is on contracts all the time, like perhaps other people in this room. There's been a lot of conversation about the relationship and the duration of the relationship, but at the end of the day, the things that have been provided by this particular firm could very well be provided, and perhaps even better, by a different one. And we don't know that, because unless someone can tell me that you have examined it in the past, we won't know unless we see what else is out there. And at the end of the day, this is a business transaction. Someone can come up to me, and it has happened to me before, and that's it. This is the end. Today's your last day. And that's the way it is. There's more to this than just preserving some sort of friendship with a particular person or a particular group. There doesn't have to be anything bad behind it. This is a good time, and that's where this came from. This is a good time and to your point, I think a lot of things do need to be reassessed, not just our legal counsel, but maybe we should look at the school physician while we're at it, and other things like that, because, unless there's a reason and policies in place that are stopping it, we have a tendency, or what I've seen since I've been here, is to drag feet and to slow things down, and that's concerning. So I think that's, in terms of the timeline in November, things seem to take a real long time around here to get things done, and so that's kind of, I guess, I'm done.
Speaking of which, it's
Yeah.
almost 9 o'clock.
Was your hand up
Oh, no.
before Carl? Carl, yeah?
Well, I just have to say something about what Miguel just mentioned. He said, and it seems very reasonable, they've been our lawyers for 20 years, 20 plus years, and we've never evaluated them. Well, where does that come from? What do you mean we've never evaluated them? I'm a lawyer. I have been dealing with that firm I've been a member of the school committee for nearly, with an interregnum of 4 years from 2018 to 2022. But I've been a member of the school committee for nearly 20 years. I evaluate them all the time. Every time I interact with them, have I had disagreements with them along the way? Yes. None of those disagreements have caused me to bring up once in those many years that we're not being well represented by counsel. So when Miguel says we haven't reevaluated them for 20 plus years, it's just simply not true. Of course we have. Like we evaluate everything that we do. We change our minds about things. We hire superintendents. We just hired a director of student services. We do it all the time. It doesn't have to be labeled evaluation of blank. We're living, we're alive. We listen to people, we listen to their input. I certainly have evaluated that law firm for as long as I've been a member of the school committee.
Jim?
Yeah, we evaluate teachers and other people in the school district every year, right? Or someone does, yeah.
Well, that's not a
We get
disagreement.
the evaluations from, so if there's an evaluation process for everyone else we hire, why isn't there an evaluation process for the attorney?
So you're denying what I just said, that I've been reevaluating them?
Yeah, but you're
No,
not the
no.
only person.
been a
That's you.
Well, you'll say you. Okay, hold on, Brian.
So I would just like to offer, one of the things that I'm trying to grapple with as a brand-new permanent superintendent is the reality that this is an excellent school district. We have tremendous educators, faculty, staff, families, and students. And one of the things that I heard a lot while I was your interim for the past 8 months is, this is how we've always done it. We've always done it this way. And what I would offer to that is, to Miguel's point, let's examine that. I would offer to you, Ms. Murray, if you don't mind, how many years have you been teaching?
Teaching 32, here 29.
So if I were to ask Ms. Murray, and I don't need her to respond because I've been in her classroom, are you doing things in your classroom exactly the same way you did 32 years ago? I know the answer is no. Are you doing the same thing you did in your classroom 20 years ago? I know the answer is no. We expect our faculty and staff to be open to growth. We expect our faculty and staff to rise to meet different needs. I hear your point, Mr. Stewart, and I would offer that one of the things you're going to be hearing from me a lot as your permanent superintendent is that this group needs to be open to growth. That this group needs to be thinking, maybe we haven't done it exactly as we should have for all the years that we've been doing it. Maybe you have. But I think Miguel's point is well taken. If the examination bears out, the rates are the same. The services are the same. The depth is the same. Tremendous. If there are other options, I don't see the harm in exploring them. And to that point, and almost to Jim's point, I know there's no principal sitting behind me that would accept from a teacher, well, this is the way I've always been doing it, if it doesn't reflect best practice.
Miguel?
I just want to say I do appreciate and rely on your expertise on legal matters, Carl. Like, I do appreciate that, but I don't think the evaluation should be on one person's shoulders to say, I've worked with them the whole time and no other committee members should weigh in.
Oh, no, but you're not claiming that I said that. I didn't say that at all.
But you said that you have evaluated them through working with them, and for that, and that makes you believe that they are worthy, that we should keep them and not evaluate them because you
No,
have.
it's not at all what I said, and I'm sorry that what I said was not understood. But I didn't claim that because I have worked with them, that should be the determining factor.
Okay.
It is only, I have one vote. You guys have 8 more. That's who determines it. And at reorganization, if the firm is determined to be, after an evaluation, and a meaningful evaluation is determined to have outlived its usefulness for whatever reason, that's how the committee will vote. I'm just saying that and other people have worked with them. Bonnie has worked with them for many years. Arthur, who had to leave because he wasn't feeling well, has worked with them for many years. So I'm just saying, not that you should rely on my view, but I am expressing my view that in general, it looks not kosher. That this comes up at a time when there is change, and that some people obviously think, I mean, you don't have to be a genius to think that something happened with respect to the process, the superintendent process principally, that some people are unhappy with, and they say, kill the messenger. That's what they're saying, kill the messenger. They're saying, we need to explore it. Nonsense. You want to change it. It's clear to me that that's what this is about. And you don't have to agree, you don't have to admit that's what it is, but that's what I see. I see that someone is unhappy with the process by which Josh Coleman and anybody at that law firm that was working with him handled this was not what they wanted to see. Could I be wrong? Of course. But that's my feeling.
Well, I just believe that your statement,
Okay.
sorry, just to respond, that I had said they've not evaluated this service in 20 years, and you said that's not true, you have evaluated.
When others,
That-
Bonnie,
right. Okay,
Arthur.
I just wanted to say that, you
Okay.
know, that
No,
I believe it should be a.
No,
you know,
I
through
don't,
the
I don't
committee.
take umbrage or exception to that.
Okay,
Julie?
thank you, Bonnie, and then Kim.
We've been discussing this, nobody's changing their mind.
I remember this conversation.
If your goal, my whole problem was the way this was put out,
I understand.
and that was not a message. If what you want to do is look at various services that we receive, why not get an informal, group of a school committee or something, or come up and say that what we want to do is use between now and November, but going to Amy's point, let's not drag it, and say, we're going to get people who will, is this what you want? Take a look at the services, look at the pros and the cons, and look at where there may be weaknesses and where it calls for something else to be done. If it's only the law firm that you're looking at, then our favorite topic, establish like an ad hoc group to work with you to look at, evaluate what internally we've seen, and then determine if we want to go and look at others.
Okay.
And I would even do that as a motion.
Okay.
If that's what you want, if that's what is your objective?
Well, can I get Kim's comment and then we'll come back to that thought? Okay, Kim.
I would like to make a motion
Oh, well,
to explore the law firms or future law firms, starting July 1, which gets us out of budget season, gets us through what we have to do now, by forming an ad hoc committee with representatives on it that so willingly want to be on it for input. I guess I would like to say old and new members, or anybody interested, to oversee all the process, because obviously we're a divided school committee on this, and to, see how it turns out. To be brought up at reorganization in November, whatever the decision is.
Well, I'll second that motion.
And for discussion, I think with that, like we do with all.
hold on. We have a motion, we have a second. Let me check with Michelle. You gonna get all that motion?
I have.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Nancy?
I think with that in mind too, when you do evaluations, you come up with an agreed list of questions that get asked to all, to everybody who's going in there. And I think that at least gives more clarification. So I'm not saying that's what you're gonna do, but that's one of the things that could be considered as part of the process.
But I think we can set up.
Let's just move on.
Yes.
Okay,
Make a
all right.
decision.
So we have the motion and the second. Do we need to repeat? Does people have that? We're okay?
Basically, let me get it straight. It was what I have been saying less eloquently. It's to put together an ad hoc committee that will examine our service providers.
Starting July 1.
Starting July 1. And in preparation for our November
Reorganization, made up by, with the lawyer. I mean, I think various school committee members, but I think.
Well,
it
whoever
would-
wants to be on it, I think we
But
can.
I don't think we should limit it. And that's the problem, because it's like, I see a divisive vote between the school committee on a lot of things. And it can't be the same 5 and the
Right.
same 4, or the same 3 and the same 6, and it needs to be mixed.
Okay.
And that was
I
my
understand
point
that.
on it.
Yeah. Well, and that is a point towards what I said, how do we bring ourselves together? It could be a process to help do some of
Well,
that.
maybe some of this will help.
And maybe some of it will help. All right, okay. So we have that motion. We'll look for an ad hoc in July for possible, goal toward November to affirm or change or whatever we're going to do. Okay? That's in a nutshell where we are. Okay, are we all set? Bonnie?
Yes.
Kim?
Excuse my yawning.
Miguel?
Yes.
Amy?
Abstain.
Okay. Abstain. Yes. Nancy?
Yes.
Yes. Jim?
Yes.
Yeah. Carl?
Yes.
Okay. Julie will go yes. All right. That will be the process that we will move forward with. Thank you very much for your input, and I apologize very much for the perceived missteps and all of the issues that perhaps the previous agenda had. Unfinished business, we're getting to the end. Member info session, Bonnie. We mentioned it earlier that, in our calendar of May.
We had established that, to have basically anybody from any of the towns might be considering, after they watch us, we might get too many people.
We'll still arm twist.
Considering showing us the way things should be by running for school committee, that we would have a session that would bring together current members, past members, school committee, and just have it, get some information, answer questions, very informal. Julie and I were sitting in here with the library rearranged into these nice tables, and we were saying it'd be ideal to do it that way. Is the 19th now going to work?
I think it will, because we said the 18th would be the meeting and the insert. The 19th is a choral concert. Would it be better to move it to the 18th? Either, if school committee is at 5, we could do this at 6:30 on the 18th, perhaps instead, so that they're back to back. It's one evening, not conflicting to other things.
Do you think it's better to do the orientation?
What was that?
Select boards meet, but we're looking for possible candidates that would be running for school committee, and I don't think that would interfere with a select board meeting. So I don't think we have to worry about that.
Were you planning on being here, Bonnie?
Well, that's the problem.
Oh, that's right, the 18th was when you were away.
Can you postpone it for a week?
Yeah, we certainly can. Yeah, I know Michelle just showed me, and I know she gave to you, right, Bonnie, the information. So, we have everything there. We have time. We can move it forward. Is it, hold on, do we have, I don't know if we have to figure out that date tonight. I don't think so. If we want to rethink everything else we have, we could still do it toward the end of May. Yes?
I wanted to get it into the Sheffield Times, which is deadline is immediately.
Like yesterday. What would be, well, let me see. What would be the following?
This is where my question comes in.
Yeah, okay, sure, go ahead, Kim.
Kate, what time's the thing on the 21st start?
It's usually 5:30 to 7.
The open house.
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe it would be nice if you had it prior to the open house, and then they could transition and maybe look at what the school does.
Oh, that'd be an interesting idea. We could do it 4:30 on the 21st, or 5 o'clock, and then they could go to open
Because
house.
you might get some parents that are going there that might be interested.
Stop by here and just understand how nomination papers work and all of that.
Because I think getting
this is too
more
much.
people on this board with kids involved in the
Oh, God,
district
yeah.
will put more.
Absolutely.
They might have more.
And we could
What time?
say that we'll
What do you want to
have,
call
Say
it?
that again, Jim?
Investment.
What
Yeah,
time?
we'll have
Oh.
people who will stay beyond, if that's beginning at 5:30, I'm sure I can, Jane said Jeff Lauren, I'm sure a couple of people here.
Well, Jeff's going to be here anyways, right? So we,
Oh,
it's
right.
school.
Well, and that, yeah. So that might work very well.
Do you want to try that?
21st.
Yeah, we could say,
21st?
we could be available from 4:30 to 5:30. It could even be a drop-in. Actually, and we could schedule it to be closer to the elementary side. It doesn't have to be here. What's that? We could do it, yeah, or something like that.
Right.
Are we posting it as a meeting, or are we just sending an invitation as if it was?
It's an information session for,
And if they're interested, they're gonna contact you.
Okay,
So
but I'm
we have a
saying, so,
game plan.
so we
It's-
need to do an invite, an email blast?
yeah. Well, I think it's it would be informal, so it doesn't,
An email blast works.
do we have to post a meeting if there are more than a few of us showing
No, because we don't know
up?
who's gonna, you know.
I don't, it's like we don't post a meeting when we think we might all show up at an open house. I mean, this is more casual, it's just
So it's
information.
almost like we need to do an invitation.
Yeah, or something like that.
Post on the website.
Perfect.
And send to the towns, clerks and.
Perfect.
Select board chairs.
Michelle, you got it. Yeah, exactly that.
Okay.
And you're
And
right.
we could
don't
say
have
we
to-
would be available from 4:30 to 6 because not everybody's,
Yeah, I don't have
or
to
so,
go
and then
through.
it could be a revolving door kind of thing as a part of that.
No, this is the
I think we can figure those logistics out afterwards, if we can get a date and a time. Does that work for you, Bonnie, to switch from the 19th?
If you do it in the Eagles Loft, you probably could have like a little bit of refreshments.
Exactly.
We can
That's what
figure,
we're thinking,
we were,
exactly.
yeah, we can figure that out. Okay, let's do that, all right? The 21st, Amy?
This is like, you guys are running this, we don't need to.
No, you don't need, if you wanted to pop in, if there's a couple of people, we are aware of 2 or 3 people that have expressed interest. Will they come by? I don't know, but we could talk to them about the nomination paper process, how that all works with 5 towns and what you have to do, and,
This is 21
sit
May.
down and chat, and former school committee or current school committee
Exactly.
could talk to them, about what it is. It kind of works. I think that's fine.
21st, and what time does it start?
What are the times of the
The
open house on the
the open-
21st?
5:30 to 7.
5:30 to 7.
All right, 5:37 is the open house.
And we
For-
could say,
for-
It's not a hard start at 5:30.
Yeah, it's just stop, swing by.
Over.
Oh.
so we could do this info thing from 4:30 till 6. Is that too long? It kind of overlaps a little.
I hate to show my ignorance.
In
They're open
the
housing
meeting, which is
all the
ending in
schools?
like 10 minutes, I'll give you.
Under
the whole
Mountain
thing.
Elementary.
Just under Mountain.
Just under Mountain, yep.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. That's what we will do for that. Okay, that just changed that piece of information. Okay. Do we need to do anything else? Oh, Nancy.
Can we just, it's 9 o'clock, Julie.
Yes, I'm well aware.
Yeah.
I think we're
Is there any
done.
way that we can make,
Well-
move to
Yeah.
potentially not,
Well, let me ask this. Finance, we've already covered. We're not going to do it. Do you need to say anything?
no, because we're not doing
In the newsletter just now.
So,
Personnel, do you need to do any, you don't need to do anything at this point.
Just a meeting.
No
for-
news on.
And no news on that, you're going to be setting a meeting.
Oh,
And
God, that
future
was so
agendas-
well done.
Okay, then we are ready for the infamous, Carl!
Your motion to adjourn.
Oh, wait a minute.
There's
Oh, public comments, oh my God, our public stayed with us all this time. My apologies.
Thank you.
Whoops.
Amy Murray, I will be quick. Yes, I know it's 9, but I've also waited the 3 hours through it, so I would like my chance to speak. A couple of things.
Sorry about that.
First thing, I'm hoping after the announcement of guarantee Mr. Ricker said no more snow and that we have a final date, that the calendar can get updated for 25-26. Currently, the one is still listed as the 16th as the
Oh,
last
sure.
day, and I
Yeah, we can
have
do that.
elementary students that are making summer plans and are going to miss my last day. So if that can get updated on the website, I'd appreciate it.
Can do.
Second thing, I really do want to thank you for all of the transparency in the budget process. It has been a long few weeks, and a lot of us online or in this room, it's the most participation I've seen since probably for a long time, which means people are really interested. I am concerned that the school committee over our last administration changed your process around the budget based on who was at the helm, and it went from us receiving those line by lines to whittling down to the buckets. So my suggestion moving forward for this process is that you follow the handbook that you created. The timelines that you created and know that this is your process. It's not supposed to be led by whoever is at the helm. Changing to the questions and the clarifying and the scrutiny that you are giving, none of these questions were last in the last 8 years. How do I know? I was sitting right there. So what you are doing now and putting things under a microscope, great. But where have you been for 8 years? You allowed it to change to a process that was not yours, that you rubber stamped, and you did not look at things under a microscope that you are now. And I hope that you realize no matter who's sitting in the superintendent's chair, it's your job to maintain the process, as that word keeps getting thrown around, and not change based on what somebody's saying. The last thing that I wanted to mention was based on the long discussion that happened around the agenda item that was put on here regarding council. According to your own handbook, number 3 in terms of your duties, the chair and the superintendent are the two that meet on a regular basis to develop and outline the agenda for topics. So when some of you saw an agenda topic that you were unaware of in terms of council, well, it's their job to put it on the agenda. They don't put it out for you beforehand, not according to your own handbook. So it's their job to put it on the agenda, to get it here to talk about. And I don't think that that was a break in the process or anybody did anything wrong. And Julie, I really don't want you apologizing, because clearly that's your job, outlined by your own document. The second thing is that got brought up, it is the chair's responsibility to be doing the communication, whether that is to the attorney, to the media, to anybody. And I've heard on multiple meetings sitting here the last 2 months of individual members of this board reaching out, whether it's to attorneys or to other parties. And I'm having a problem with that as you being my elected officials. I am somebody who is a rule follower. If you've known me for the last 29 years, I get up here and ask a lot of questions, but I follow the rules and I teach my curriculum. I would appreciate if this board started following the rules and things go through Julie. She is the one that speaks for this board and questions go through her. And I would love to hear about process, but follow the process that you have outlined so that we eliminate some of this confusion. And I don't have to listen to 45 minutes as to why it was on an agenda. It's their job. Thank you, and hopefully this will be, somebody can call for the conclusion and we can go good night, because I do have to teach tomorrow, but I do ultimately appreciate all of your hard
Amy,
work.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other public comment? Okay, Carl. Kevin, I did not. Kevin, sorry, I didn't see you behind
That's all right.
the video
Shooting
camera.
the messenger.
Sorry.
Everything Amy just said. But I would also like to, on behalf of the parents and many community members, welcome Brian as the permanent superintendent. We are grateful to have you. There has been a big change in the school, and it hasn't gone unnoticed, and we appreciate you. Congratulations to John. Appreciate and are happy for you. And I want to thank Jesse, Patrick, Josh, and Chris for all, the experiential opportunities they're giving our students, which are incredible. And these are the things that we should be excited about and spending 45 minutes talking about. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
No, I also want to thank Julie and Amy for stepping into this leadership role and really taking the bull by the horns and leading us. It's great, it's appreciated, and I appreciate your perseverance, because I know it's not.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Carl?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
yes, yes. Carl?
Yes.
Yes.
Jim? Nancy?
Oh, yeah.
Julie, yes. Hang on.
This is the cord